Sportsnet. Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Welcome to Texas, and it is smoking hot. That is the Stockyards at Fort Worth, and the Texas Longhorns very prominent. And the only thing hotter than this afternoon here in Arlington, the Toronto Blue Jays. They are smoking hot right now as they try to wrap this three-game series up by sweeping the Texas Rangers. They've really put up a great offensive performance on this road trip. They've won 5 straight games on the road, and they have moved to within a game of 500 away from Rogers Center. Take a look at the lineup. Troy Tulowitzki gets the day off, sort of. He's the DH. Josh Donaldson on this road trip, he's 12 for 30 with 7 extra base hits, and he's driven in 14 runs. And then how about down in the bottom of the order, Ben Rivera's on a 6-game hit streak. All of a sudden he's on base scoring a lot of runs. He scored 10 runs over those 6 games, and he has really added a lot to the bottom third of this lineup.
We might see him steal a base today. They moved him up a little bit, maybe to take advantage of that speed. This is Giovanni Gallardo, the 29-year-old right-hander, getting ready for his 27th start of the season. One of the most consistent starters, I think, for the Rangers this year. He's got 21 starts of 3 or fewer runs allowed. That's tied for the 5th most in the American League. You see the record 10-9. That record will be a lot better if he got a little bit more run support. He's averaging 3.5 runs of support when he pitches. That's the 6th lowest in the American League. But make no mistake about it, this guy is really tough.
He can really pitch, and the Blue Jays know that. They saw it firsthand. He held them to 3 singles the last time he pitched against them in June at Rogers Center. Troy Tulowitzki's the DH. Gallardo was set. Here's the first pitch of the ball game. Tulowitzki cuts on it and pops it up over near the seats. Moreland will get over and give it a look, but it's out of play. Boy, it's going to be tough on pop-ups today. It's a humid day, and it is a bright sunny day, but a lot of haze. It's going to be very challenging for the defenders to make plays on those pop-ups and fly balls.
That ball's going to go up in the air like you saw right there and disappear if you take your eye off of it. So you're going to have to play good team defense on any ball in the air this afternoon.
Tulowitzki behind 0-2. Blue Jays, we mentioned, they've won 5 straight games. They lost the opener on this road trip in Philadelphia and then have won 5 since. Trying to sweep back-to-back series away from Rogers Center. When Gallardo was so good against the Blue Jays at Rogers Center, he pitched them away predominantly. All the righties he worked away with a cutter and a sinker.
Yeah, and he was hitting that outside corner against those righties, bringing that fastball back on the outside corner and cutting it away. There's a curveball right there. He'll move the ball around the strike zone. He's got outstanding command and control.
He's really good when he's down, and he reminds me of the way Tanaka pitched against the Blue Jays, how he exploits the bottom part of the strike zone. That ball is ripped. One hop right to the shortstop. Andrews fires to first. 1 down. Well, defense has been a problem for the Rangers all season long, and it has been a problem in this series. They've committed 93 errors as a team this season. Well, Venable is in left. Delino DeShields with great speed in center. Sin-Shu-Chu's in right. Beltre, Andrews, Alfredo, and Moreland from third to first, and Bobby Wilson back behind the plate for the 2nd time in this series.
That is a very talented center fielder, and Delino DeShields Jr., if the name sounds familiar, it is. It's the son of Delino DeShields from the Montreal Expos. Very talented. Just turned 23 this month. He's a converted second baseman. He just started playing the outfield last season, and he has looked good in this series.
This is Josh Donaldson, who looks good on this road trip. Mentioned Donaldson on the trip, 12 for 30 with 14 RBIs on the road trip. He leads the majors with 101 runs driven in. The Blue Jays had optional batting practice today, and you can imagine how hot it was. It's 33 degrees now, but Donaldson is out there going through his routine, getting his swings in.
Hitting has been an option for all 3 games here in Texas because it has been so hot. You know, and I asked Brooke Jacoby the first day here, I said, what makes Josh Donaldson so special? He says, Pat, he comes out every single day and he wants to hit out on the field. He'll get plenty of swings in the cages and everything, but he loves to come out on this field and swing the bat.
This is popped up on the right side of second. Mitch Moreland gives way to the second baseman, Hanser Alberto, and there are 2 quick outs here in the first. See how the defenders for the Rangers converge on that pop-up just to make sure that you can see it properly, but everybody's going to converge anything in the air today.
Don't take your eye off the ball. Even when the ball is into the gaps. That's why we were talking about good team defense. That's just talking.
Jose Bautista, he has 7 hits in his last 4 games. He's just 1 for 11 against Giovanni Gallardo. Mentioned Gallardo held the Blue Jays to just 3 singles the last time he faced them. Donaldson, Encarnacion, and Pilar, the only Blue Jays hitters to get base hits against Gallardo.
And that was right in that midst of Gallardo's scoreless streak. It was outstanding. 33 to 3rd innings. He was pounding the zone against the Blue Jays. I don't think he threw 1 pitch above the belt in that game. It certainly didn't seem like it.
Blue Jays are always sharing information after their individual at-bats. Bautista shook his head. He didn't think that was a strike. It's now 2-1. I think if he could, David Price would play today.
Yeah, why can't I DH today?
Tulowitzki's doing it for the first time. How about me? He's got wristbands. He's got batting gloves in his back pocket. He's probably got his spikes on, and there's probably a couple of bats in the bat rack. 2-2 pitch. Inside, it's a full count.
There's that sinker right there that he will use to the right-handers just to back him off the plate a little bit.
The red-hot Encarnacion waits on deck. Bautista walked 4 times in the game last night. 3rd time he's done that in his career. Got a piece of it, had a late swing, and was able to foul it off to stay alive. And another foul into the seats this time. The Blue Jays, they lead the American League East by 2 games over the Yankees. They're 16 games over 500. There's another 3-2 pitch. It's ball 4. Another walk for Bautista. That'll bring Encarnacion to the plate with 2 outs and a man on.
Well, what an at-bat for Jose. He fell behind very early and then battled Gallardo to keep that inning alive. And this is a good day to rush that pitch count up, isn't it? Because it's so hot.
Get into that bullpen again.
Yeah, they've been doing that the first 2 games in this series.
Edwin Encarnacion. Longest hit streak in the majors at this time, 21 straight. He's tied for the longest of the season with Nelson Cruz and Troy Tulowitzki, 21 gamer.
What I love about the numbers, we talked about Edwin in the opening and the great numbers that he has put up, but he is just driving the ball into the gaps and picking up big base hits and picking up extra base hits to help the Blue Jays offense. 16 extra base hits during that 21 game hit streak.
He's got 23 RBIs in the month of August. He and Josh Donaldson are the leaders in that category. And everybody in his lineup at some time or other this season has carried this team. Right now it's on double E. Pat, I think the biggest thing that stands out for me is the way Encarnacion's seeing the ball right now. You can tell that he is really tracking the baseball.
Well, watch him load up, and that's to me is a sign for Edwin that he always gets hot. He's got a little rock back on that back leg. He keeps his hands back, and then he just gets him into a good hitting position.
Two balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs. We're in the top of the first. Bautista with a 2-out walk. He's at first. Off-speed pitch. He was out in front. Gallardo was matched up against Matt Boyd for the Blue Jays the last time they faced. Of course, Boyd now will pitch tomorrow night for the Tigers. He went to Detroit, part of the deal for David Price. In that game at Rogers Center at the end of June, Boyd gave up 3 solo home runs. Mitch Moreland, Rougned Odor, and Robinson Chirinos, and that was the difference in the game. It was a 4-0 ball game.
Turned it over to Gallardo, and he took him home. He was painting that day. I remember the Blue Jays never had a chance to hit the ball hard because he never gave him a pitch to hit.
This is chopped toward short. Beltre cuts in front of Andrews, throws out Encarnacion. The inning is over. The Blue Jays leave a base runner. When we come back, Marco Estrada will continue to work on a career high win total. Welcome back to Arlington. Let's take a look at the Rangers lineup for their manager, Jeff Bannister. Top of the order is the rookie Delano DeShields, and Shin-Shu Chu over his last 11 games, swinging a hot bat. Blue Jays have to straighten out their defense, play him a little more straight away. He's got 13 hits in his last 38 at-bats, and then in the cleanup spot. It's Adrian Beltre. Over his last 14 games, he has 18 hits, 6 extra base hits, and 12 RBIs for the Gold Glove third baseman. And they're set to take on Marco Estrada.
21st start of the season for Estrada as he gets ready for this one. You can see his record of 11-7. That is a career high. His former career high was just 7 wins that he set last year. 129 1/3 innings. His career high is 152 thirds established last season. Estrada comes into this game very hot. He's won 4 out of his last 5 games. He's made 1 start versus this Texas Rangers team. Picked up the win a couple of seasons ago, allowing just 1 run over 6 innings against this Ranger team.
The rookie Delano DeShields is in the box. And Estrada delivers the first pitch strike. Well, that's the biggest thing for Marco, his ability to throw strikes with all of his pitches. He's constantly pounding that strike zone. You look at Estrada's opponent's batting average in the American League. He trails only Sonny Gray, who's held the opponents to 200 average. Estrada 211. That's what opponents have hit against him. So it's not an accident he's having a great season. He has really pitched well.
And he's doing a couple of things starting in spring training. He started to incorporate the cutter just a little bit more. He said he needed something to get in on the hands of left-handed batters something else to get him out, and he's found that that cutter has worked well against the right-handers. And ever since Dion Navarro started catching him, he's really incorporated that changeup and curveball a little bit more.
You can see during the course of this ballgame, Estrada will not shake off Navarro. He turns everything over to the catcher. Very defensive swing from DeShields. Pat, what's that do for a pitcher when he has so much confidence and he sees a quick sign from his catcher?
You know, especially on a day like today where it's so hot, you'd like to work a lot quicker so you can get in and out of this game. But you can feel your confidence with your catcher. You don't have to worry about selection. You can just worry about trying to make pitches. And Marco has certainly done that this season. Lots of quality starts so far for Marco.
DeShields with a full count. Leadoff walk pitch was upstairs. Well, defensively, the Blue Jays have played as well as anybody in the field lately, and they have put on a clinic here in this series. Ben Revere took an extra base hit away from Delino DeShields in last night's game. He went up in the wall and left. Pilar's played great all season, and Bautista is one of the best in the game. Donaldson, Goins at short, starting for the first time since August 13th at short. Cliff Pennington's at second, and Edwin Encarnacion's at first. Navarro behind the plate.
Edward last played first base in Philadelphia at the beginning of this trip. His last error, June 27th, versus the same Texas Rangers team.
And the first pitch strike to Sin-Shu Chu. Shields can run at first. He's 22 for 27 in steal attempts.
And
Navarro's done a great job throwing runners out there.
He certainly has. Thrown out base runners 7 for 16 this year. And the Rangers struggling to score some runs against the Blue Jays in the first couple games of this series. Wouldn't shock me to start DeShields over at first base. He's had a couple of 50 stolen base seasons when he was in the minor leagues with Houston.
Hector Ortiz, the first base coach, helping DeShields with Estrada's release times. Well, he's got a big lead. He draws the throw. It's interesting how DeShields takes his lead. He's outside the baseline at first base. He is outside that straight line between first and second. And from a pitcher's perspective, that looks like a bigger lead.
Looks like a bigger lead. A lot of times you're taught to stay inside that line, so it looks like a smaller lead from the mound.
That's one of the real intricacies of great base stealers. They will lead off inside that baseline because from the mound it looks like it's a shorter lead. But when you lead outside that base path, you're further away from the base, obviously, but you're no closer to second.
No, it might even be a little bit longer because your angle's a little bit different. You'll see base runners take leads like that because they feel like they can get back to the outside part of the bag at first base on a pickoff attempt a little bit easier. Make it a little bit harder for that first baseman to apply the tag. This guy doesn't need any help. He can really run. There's that lead we were talking about back behind the bag.
Another thing that Blue Jays are going to have to be aware of, that if DeShields takes off, Marco Estrada has to go to third. They're playing Chu in that exaggerated shift, and Donaldson is the closest defender to the bag at third.
It's really interesting, the at-bats that Chu has had so far in this series, how he has shot a couple of balls to left field, but the Blue Jays still play him in the shift.
He's taking a shot there again.
Boy, is he ever. He is trying to hit that ball to left field. There's one defender on the left side of the infield. All you have to do is just hit a ground ball.
Yeah, he's really got that stroke working, just to take that bat and kind of drag it through the zone and shoot it the other way. He gets a piece of that off-speed pitch and stays alive. Delino DeShields walked. He's at first base. Leadoff walk issued by Estrada. Another changeup. This one strikes him out. He came right back with that changeup and gets a big strikeout here. His first of the afternoon.
You know, that is one way that you can beat a hitter who is trying to hit the ball the other way. Just pull the string on a changeup. As a hitter, it just seems like you can't wait long enough. You wait, you wait, you wait. To Chu, who is trying to hit the ball the other way, swings right through that one. It's a big out to get a pretty hot hitter.
Now, speaking of hot hitters, how about hot pitchers? And Marco Estrada has been a red hot pitcher over his last 12 starts. ERA at 2.50. Opponents hitting 184 against him. We mentioned Gallardo and Estrada, members of the Brewers rotation a year ago. Well, Estrada's pitching to his former first baseman, Prince Fielder.
What is this, a Brewers reunion game here today? Too many of them around, huh?
Inside. You know, there are a lot of players that will play with pitchers and not really pay too much attention to what they throw, but Fielder is not that guy. He's really into every pitch of a ball game, and he understands exactly how Marco Estrada likes to work.
Earlier in the year, we saw Fielder just serve balls the other way. Much like we were talking about Sin-Chu Chu, and that batting average was climbing. Now recently, it's been going down. He's been in a little bit of a funk. Struggling just a little bit with the bat.
DeShields hasn't looked like he is comfortable at first as far as taking off for second. Another high pitch, and Fielder is late on it. Why is it that Estrada can get away with those high fastballs when he rarely touches 90 miles an hour?
I think it's the changeup that is so effective, and his curveball. He throws that curveball and that fastball, especially the high fastball, right out of the same plane, and it creates indecision with the hitters. The hitter's just not real sure what that pitch is, and it's too late for them to react on the pitch.
I think the one thing that you can see when Estrada's really throwing the ball well is a lot of funny swings from good hitters.
That'll be one key if you're watching the game. If you see those kind of funny swings, 3 pitches. If he can get those 3 pitches over and throw them all for strikes at any time, that's when he's had a lot of success.
Another strikeout, as he may have gotten a foul tip, but Navarro hangs on 2 strikeouts after the walk.
Well, we all know that Marco Estrada is a changeup. He's got one of the best in baseball, but the fastball, I think, is very important for him. Look at the difference between 2014 and 2015, where his fastball is and where those hitters and what those hitters are hitting. And the inside fastball, they're only hitting 209 this year, just 190 right down the middle, and that's, I think, a byproduct of a great changeup. And then away, they're hitting just 186 against that fastball. Also, if that ball is up, players have been tending to chase that ball and swing through that high fastball. So he's got all kind of places that he can go to get outs in that strike zone.
Yeah, that's the one thing you want to do as a pitcher, is you give hitters so many different areas of the strike zone to worry about. Edwin Beltre took a first pitch ball. There goes DeShields. The ball is fouled back. Another high pitch to Beltre. He fouled it right straight back. Beltre's facing Estrada just for the second time. He's 0 for 2. Beltre's now 36 years old. He's in his 18th major league season. He came up with the Dodgers in 1998, played in 77 games as a 19-year-old. Boy, what a great jump. That ball is drilled into the alley. DeShields is headed for third. They better get the ball back in quickly, and they do, as Encarnacion comes into the middle of the diamond to cut off the ball. Beltre with a 2-out single to right center.
Boy, he is such a good hitter. He's just going to take the ball where it is. Rangers are going to play aggressive baseball, I think, this afternoon. DeShields takes off finds that ball as it's drilled into the gap in right center field. Kevin Pillar does a very good job of cutting the ball off and not throwing it to the cutoff man. Sometimes you don't want to hit that first cutoff man because a guy who can run like the Shield might run through that ball and score. He throws it all the way back into the infield. It's actually the third cutoff man that he hit. And the Rangers are threatening here in the first.
Mitch Moreland, the first baseman. Estrada has now thrown 24 pitches on this sweltering afternoon in Arlington. Moreland batting .287 for the season. Well, they had a pickoff play on there. Donaldson in. Broken for third. Navarro was coming out from behind the plate, anticipating the pitch away, but it was fouled out by Moreland.
We've seen the Blue Jays do this in the past. Donaldson will give some signs, and he will take off right on the pitch. Fastball away, just trying to get that runner on third base to come down a little bit too far and pick him off.
Navarro has reacted to Donaldson. He will see him break, even if there isn't a pickoff play on. There's a strike now, 1-2 to Mitch Moreland. The Shields with the leadoff walk. He's now at third, and Beltre's at first with a 2-out single. Took a shot at that inside corner and missed. John Gibbons knows he's got a very well-rested bullpen today. On this hot day, you can bet he's going to keep a close eye on his strop. Moreland fouls it back. Mitch Moreland's had a fine season. It's been a while since he's had this many consistent at-bats, and he's made the most of it. Early in the season, it was Prince Fielder playing first base, and then Fielder recognized what a good defender Moreland was and went to the manager and said, hey, he needs to play first. I'll DH.
Put together a pretty good season, 18 home runs, 66 driven in, and always seems to come up with big base hits against the Blue Jays. He's a career 300 hitter against Toronto pitching.
Rangers threatening here in the bottom of the first. And Estrada's having trouble wiping the perspiration from his eyes. It's a smoking hot afternoon here. Ball is in the dirt. It's a full count. So Beltre at first with 2 outs will be off on the pitch. DeShields will hold at third. Elvis Andrews is on deck, the shortstop, batting in the 6th spot this afternoon.
Well, you know Beltre is going to be taking off on this pitch. Josh Donaldson's trying to get the attention of Navarro to give him some signs like they might want to try a pickoff play once again.
There goes Beltre. The ball is lifted into the seats, foul. Blue Jays are 5-1 on this road trip, and they went out on the road, and everybody was kind of thinking, man, if we can go 5-3 on this trip, probably be a pretty good road trip. And now I figure like they got a chance to really make it a special road trip. It's a fly ball to left. Blue Jays are 6-1 on this trip to this point. They've won 5 straight after losing the opener in Philadelphia.
And don't you know, to a man, Every one of them, you know, okay, we're not going to sit back and be happy. Even if they end up losing this ball game to a man, you talk to them, they want to win this game. They want to send a message to the Texas Rangers, and I think to all of baseball, that they're not going to be happy with just winning series right now.
And a base hit to right. DeShields is in to score. Beltre is headed for third. Bautista gets the ball back in quickly. And Mitch Moreland has given the Rangers the lead once again. They've had the lead in all 3 games in this series.
Told you he has been a 300 hitter in his career against the Blue Jays, and he does it once again. DeMarco Estrada got the count to 3-2, and then a high fastball. Estrada has not been able to get that fastball down just yet, and Moreland jumps all over that one with a solid single into right field. Scores the game's first run. And that will bring, Buck, Pete Walker out to slow things down just a little bit for Marco.
Well, it is a hot afternoon. He has thrown 32 pitches in this inning, and you want your pitcher to be around 16 in an inning and then take a break. So he's had an extended inning here in the first, and he's not out of it yet. Beltre's at third, Moreland's at first. Moreland's 67th RBI of the season. He continues to extend his career high in RBIs. His previous high was 60 back in 2013. This is the shortstop, Elvis Andrews. Goes after the first pitch. Goins it short, gobbles it up, and that'll end the inning. But for the 3rd straight game, the Texas Rangers have taken the lead. It's 1-0 after 1 in Arlington.
Hydrated and cool. Now, aside from drinking plenty of fluids, you may have heard of the ammonia towels. And quite simply, it is a standard towel that is soaked in a bucket of ice water with ammonia in it. What it does is it brings down the body core temperature and at the same time opens up the wind passages. So basically, they get extra breath, they get alert, and they get cool. Whether or not it works, we'll give it a shot and see. If it does, I'm going to keep this all day, guys.
Barry, I can tell you it works.
Oh, yeah.
We
like that. We like that a lot.
Does it ever work? I mean, that was the best. When you would come in and the trainer would soak your head with that thing, you would automatically just cool off. What a great feeling.
And you know what it does, too? It cools your body off, but it also dries your skin off. I remember that. You come in and your hands are so soaking wet. But, well, there was nothing like getting back to the dugout. That ball is going to get down and split the outfielders as Navarro has a leadoff single. John Navarro swinging the bat very well lately. He starts the second inning with a single to the alley in right center.
He looks so comfortable against Giovanni Gallardo. That's his first career hit against him right there. Pitch out over the plate. And there's that classic short swing by Navarro. Gallardo has had a lot of success against the Blue Jays in his career. He's 2-0 against them. More importantly, the Blue Jays are only hitting 189 against them in those games.
Yeah, he's done a great job for his career, and he's only given up one career home run. Mind you, this is only his third career start. Kevin Pillar had a big night last night with the bat. He was 2 for 5 with a home run. Hit his first home run in 42 games in last night's game. It came leading off the 6th inning, and that led to a big 6-run 6th inning.
Yeah, he singled his first 2 times up and then homered, and that big
look out. Well, that went right over Ben Revere's head up against the screen.
That's another problem that you have on days like today. Your hands, you just can't get a good grip on that bat because they're sweating so much. It just seems like your batting gloves, even though you're wearing them, they're soaking wet. And you'll see this a lot, I think, this afternoon as that bat is helicoptered into the screen.
And Ben Revere standing on deck, and you got to keep your eye on everything when you're that close to the action. So Pillar is behind 0-2. Boy, he did a good job of spoiling that tough pitch down and away. Inside off the plate. Gallardo grew up in the Fort Worth area, so he's used to this kind of weather. He signed a letter of intent to pitch at TCU, Texas Christian, but signed with the Brewers.
So he knows how to deal with the heat here. One of the ways that he wants to deal with that, he was talking with his pitching coach, Mike Maddox, about being a little bit quicker in between pitches. You can see him. He's just getting the ball and throwing it to stay in a nice rhythm.
Pillar hits into the double play, so that immediately erases that leadoff single. Alberto filling in for Rougned Odor, who injured his finger here in the opener of this series.
Rangers haven't caught the ball particularly well in this series. That time, though, a 5-4-3 double play right around the horn. Beltre is so quick over there at third base, and he's got such a strong arm. He was able to throw that ball off the wrong foot and then accurately to Alberto.
Ben Revere, the left fielder. I mentioned he has a 6-game hit streak, 11 for 25 during that 6-game. You can see Gallardo looks like he's intent on working quicker today.
Yeah, get the ball. He did that in his last start. That was in Detroit. And Mike Maddox wanted to tell him, hey, get the ball and throw him. Stop worrying so much in between pitches and wasting time. Get it, stay on that rubber, get the sign and go.
Not only for himself, Gallardo wants to work quickly for his teammates. Get out there standing out there on a 20-25 pitch inning. Everybody will lose their focus.
There's nothing worse than playing defense when a pitcher can't find the strike zone.
Then Revere rips it into center field. The Shields has good speed. He gets over to cut it off and hustles it back in. So Ben Revere gets a 2-out single. That extends his hit streak to 7 straight.
Starting to get that bat going for the Blue Jays. They moved him up a couple of spots here this afternoon. I think this is a time for him to start running. The timing's just been a lot better for Revere. He's getting started earlier and he's on time. He's catching the ball out in front now.
Cliff Pennington starting at second base this afternoon. Revere doesn't have a stolen base attempt as a Blue Jay. Pennington takes a first pitch rip.
He's got the green light. Those are a bunch of decoy signs right there from Luis Rivera. He's got the green light, so if he feels like he can steal the base, go. He's got a good lead right now.
Ball in the dirt. Bobby Wilson got on top of it quickly. Bobby Wilson started the opener here on Tuesday. Back behind the plate. He comes out of the Angels system, and generally when you think of a catcher that started out in the Angels, he's a good defender. There goes Revere. Wilson's throw is high and not in time. Second base umpire Mike Estabrook was peeking around Andrews to make sure that Revere maintained contact with the bag.
And this is a pretty good jump right here. It's a good pitch to run on. You can see it's a straight steal. He's got his head down and he gets into that base. And you're right, just to make sure he stays engaged with that base, doesn't come unlocked from there. Foot stayed right on there. And he will pick up his first stolen base as a Blue Jay.
Pennington cuts right through that fastball. Pennington, former #1 pick of the Oakland A's back in 2005. He played college baseball at Texas A&M in College Station, Texas. Grew up in Corpus Christi. Full count.
You know, even with Ben Revere's great speed, he's going to have to get a big secondary lead. But you can see the outfield very shallow for Cliff Pennington, especially the left fielder. That's real Venable. The Shields in center field very shallow, so even a hard hit ball into the outfield, no guarantee he's going to score.
There's a fly ball. Venable was shallow. This ball is, oh, what a catch by Venable. That ball was over his head, and he had to stretch and jump for it. And he saves a run for Giovanni Gallardo. He was shallow, as Pat mentioned. Pennington gave it a ride to the opposite field. And only the great athleticism of Will Venable saves a run for the Rangers. Terrific catch. Much appreciated by Giovanni Gallardo.
Canadian high school amateur players with college eligibility. It's Tournament 12 presented by New Era and Roberto Alomar. It goes September 14th through the 18th at Rogers Center. For tickets, visit bluejays.com/T12. Just another wonderful thing that Roberto Alomar does for the Toronto Blue Jays in the city of Toronto, Buck.
Well, it sure is, and T12 has produced some college baseball players, had a chance to go down and play in the States, and it's been a very good draw for scouts, coaches in the United States to come up and look at some Canadian talent.
Getting drafted, too, some of those kids. Very impressive.
This is Will Venable, who made that terrific diving catch in left field to end the top of the second. Fouls it back. The Blue Jays have had trouble preventing the opponents from scoring in the first inning. They've allowed first inning runs in 4 straight games, and only the Colorado Rockies have given up more first inning runs than the Blue Jays. Blue Jays have now allowed 94 runs in the first inning. Pennington just moved to his left. That ball was hit back to his right. He was able to recover as he was reading the pitch and thought it was going to be pulled to his left, but he recovered very effectively.
Well, Will Venable stole a hit and an RBI away from Cliff Pennington, so Pennington said, I got to return that favor. He made a nice play. It would have been straight at him. You're right, if he didn't move, but he was playing the pitch, and he records that first out.
This is the catcher, Bobby Wilson. Goes after the first pitch. And the off-speed pitch was just off the plate. Bobby Wilson has a tie with the Blue Jays. He grew up in Dunedin. Played high school there in that area. Went to Seminole High School in Sanford, Florida, and St. Petersburg College. That's the same place that Todd Redmond played. Bobby Wilson started his career with the Angels in 2008. He's bounced around a bit. Arizona, Tampa Bay, now Texas. Reaches for that changeup. Owens takes his time. 2 down.
Save during Canada's Color Expert Sale. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Lots of good food at the old ballpark, and the hot dogs are on the grill, and everybody here enjoying a great afternoon of baseball.
Have you seen the 2-foot-long hot dogs here?
Well, I know your boys have seen the 2-foot-long hot dogs.
They've seen and they conquered those 2-foot-long hot dogs. I mean, they're gigantic, and you can put anything you want on it.
That's a bunt up the third baseline. That's going to roll into foul ground.
You know, everything in Texas is big here. And look at that. That's what I'm talking about. You can take that bad boy right there and you put it on right there. Now you can fill it with anything you want.
Chili, onions, cheese, and one of your boys ate one of those things all by himself, right?
All by himself. Yeah, the youngest one who was here. He's in his 20s.
Look at that. That's nice little cheese on there.
Didn't have to eat for another 2 days after he had that big boy. I don't know.
I don't know. It looks like a big case of heartburn.
A bellyache waiting to happen, right?
Oh, to be young, huh? We used to think that was a good meal.
Now it would last for a week.
0-2 count to the number 9 hitter, Enzo Alberto. Alberto, just 22 years old from the Dominican Republic, and Marco Estrada dispatches him very quickly. 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the second. We'll move to the third. Texas with a 1-0 lead.
is in full flight, and we'll have action for you tomorrow afternoon as Wolfsburg takes on Schalke. You can see it 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on Sportsnet. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry Davis, as we are wrapping up this road trip here in Arlington. The Detroit Tigers will be in town tomorrow night. Ari Dickey will open up for the Blue Jays, will be opposed by the former Blue Jay, Matt Boyd. The left-hander will start Friday night for the Tigers. Tigers are playing this afternoon in Detroit, and they're currently being one hit by Matt Shoemaker of the Angels. Shoemaker just one hit through 6 innings, and he struck out 4. Randy Wolf is on the mound for the Tigers, the former Buffalo Bison. He's pitched well. This is his second start for the Tigers since the Blue Jays sold him to Detroit.
Well, Blue Jays don't have to worry about Justin Verlander. He was on his game in yesterday's ball game. Did you see the hit that broke up the no-hitter? I mean, directly on the left field line.
Oh, yeah. Chris Iannetta.
Iannetta got it. I mean, he came that close to throwing his third no-no.
There have only been 5 pitchers that have thrown 3 or more no-hitters, and Justin Verlander was on the verge of becoming the 6th. Nolan Ryan, Sandy Koufax, you know those 2 guys. Cy Young, Bob Feller, great pitcher for the Indians, and Larry Corcoran. Those are the 5 pitchers in Major League history that have thrown 3 or more no-hitters. There are a lot of Texans in this ball game this afternoon. We mentioned Gallardo grew up in Fort Worth. Some of the people that aren't Texans trying to handle the heat.
finding the shade, right? Look where they're sitting out in that bullpen. Everybody's up against the wall trying to get blocked off of the sun. How about that?
There is some talk that there are people that are thinking about building a new stadium here, an enclosed stadium, much like that one at Minute Maid Park in Houston. I think those Blue Jays relief pitchers would vote in favor of that right now. Troy Tulowitzki, he's on deck behind Goins. It's a 3-2 count for Goins. I mentioned Ryan had 3 walks in the game last night. Boy, he's having good at bats, Pat. What's the difference in your mind?
Well, I think his swing is a little bit shorter. He is slowing the game down. He's made some of those adjustments with his hands where he keeps the bat right on his shoulder. That slows everything down, keeps him compact. And you know what it does also? Pick up the baseball a little bit better, and you can see it just a little bit longer.
This is a fly ball to left. Venable is there. 1 down. 29-year-old Giovanni Gallardo was the opening day starter 5 straight years for the Brewers.
And this is what he will throw right here. The fastball is just a bit over 90 miles an hour, and he uses it 54% of the time, but he can cut it and he can sink it, and he's got outstanding command and control with it. He'll throw a slider, a curveball, and a changeup also in those percentages. But basically, he's going to just try and pound down and move that ball down the lower parts of the strike zone by cutting it and sinking it. He's had a great year. He's 10-9, his record, but it would be a lot better if they were scoring him a few more runs.
They haven't scored many runs when Gallardo's on the mound. And that's what's so interesting about pitchers' records. We saw Colby Lewis with 14 wins, and he had gotten plenty of run support. Troy Tulowitzki is serving as the DH for the first time in his career today. John Gibbons was asked about Tulowitzki as the DH. He said, well, it's like giving him a half a day off. Get him off his legs defensively at least. Off speed pitch pulled foul. Giovanni Gallardo, Blue Jays saw him in June, and he was really on a roll. His first 8 starts, ERA under 1, but it's been a different story since May 24th.
Yeah, a little bit different. That streak that he was in that first half, that was a scoreless streak of 33 1/3 innings from June the 10th through July the 7th. His last 9 starts, not so good.
Tulowitzki shaking his head at the home plate umpire. Paul Mark. Tulowitzki turned and quickly reacted to that ball. He thought it was off the plate inside. Mark calling out Tulowitzki. That's the first strikeout of the afternoon for Gallardo.
Troy probably thought that ball was down. Also, there's been a couple borderline pitches already this year this game that it was down, and there it is right there. You can see it on pitch tracker that it looked like it missed the strike zone, but there's been a few already in this game that have been called a ball right in that same area, and then they call it a strike, and I think that's what the beef was from Tulo.
Yeah, and he just turned around immediately and said, that's not a strike, and then gave up the batter's box. 2 outs now for Donaldson, who falls behind 0-1. Well, he was sitting on that pitch. You could see it by his swing that he had that fastball on his mind. 0-2. Now he's got to shorten up. Coming upstairs. Too high. Could you ever sense a catcher giving a high target when you were batting? Did you ever sense it? You're not really seeing him, but feel like his presence was higher?
Only when I would peek. You know, and guys do it all the time. They kind of look outside, look down, and kind of tilt their head back just a little bit to get an idea where that catcher is.
Do you know how many people you just shocked? Pat Tabler would peek.
Well, who didn't? Right? You're trying to get any kind of advantage that you can, right? You know where I did sense it, though, and feel it is when they would slide to the inside. You could feel it as a right-handed batter when they would slide inside.
Cliff Johnson, DH, played with the Blue Jays and many other teams. He used to hold the conversation, and he'd waggle his bat back and forth, and he'd turn around and look where you were sitting, and he'd say, "How you doing today, Buck?" I said, "Cliff, just be quiet and turn around and look at the pitcher." Donaldson called up. Pitch was on the outside corner. First 2 strikeouts of the afternoon. Tulowitzki and Donaldson. Blue Jays go quietly in their half of the third.
Enter the code MBJ545 to earn My Blue Jays points simply for watching the broadcast. The entry box can be found on your My Blue Jays homepage. The code must be entered by 11:59 tonight. Look for a new code tomorrow. But
thank you very much, Barry, and it's always important. Make sure you check that out and log in whenever you're watching Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Here's an old throwback jersey, similar to those 85 uniforms worn by that first division championship ball club. The Lino de Shields. DeShields was drafted by the Houston Astros in 2010, and he was taken in the Rule 5 draft. He just didn't flourish under the Astros minor league system, and he was exposed to that Rule 5 draft. For your information, if you're not clear on what the Rule 5 draft is, if a player has played 3 years in the minor leagues as a college player or 4 years as a major league player, and he's not on the major league roster, then he becomes available to everybody else in baseball through the Rule 5 draft.
And he wasn't just drafted by the Houston Astros. He was drafted in the first round by the Houston Astros. 8th overall in 2010. That tells you that that organization, the Houston Astros, must have a lot of players that they can't fit everybody on their 40-man roster.
Well, that's a good point. It's not so much that he didn't do everything they had hoped, but they have a lot of good young players, and we have seen them. And they've produced a lot of homegrown talent.
Good job by the Texas Rangers recognizing that he was available in the Rule 5 draft. He was chosen. He has to stay here the whole season, and has been. Tell you what, he's going to be their starting center fielder the rest of the year.
Yeah, and he's going to get an extended opportunity to show just what he can bring to this ball club. And we know what he has as far as defensive skills and speed. We've seen that on display. He went to winter ball last year, played in Santurce in the Puerto Rican Winter League, and got 25 games of experience in winter ball. This is pulled to left field. Ben Revere's not going to get there. Drops in front of him, and Revere gets it back in quickly. DeShields has been aboard twice already this afternoon. He walked in the first and scored, and now he singles to start the third.
Those kind of dynamic type of runners like that, you got to keep them off the base. This ball is topped, and it's got some top spin on it, and Revere actually broke back thinking that this ball was hit harder, but with that top speed, it knocked it down quickly and dumps it in front of him.
DeShields, we mentioned his 22 stolen bases. He's been caught 5 times. There he goes. He got a good jump. Navarro's throw is short. What a tag by Goins. Goins took the short hop and took that glove right to the base. And he wants the Blue Jays to look at that on replay.
You know, I don't know if there's any infielder on the Blue Jays roster who applies that tag quicker than Ryan Goins does. They want to look at this one, and you see John Gibbons come out and give that universal sign that they want to have this one reviewed. But watch, it's a tough ball to handle. It's a short hop. He catches it, and it goes right down to the foot and tries to apply the tag, and we'll see if they're going to overturn this one or have it stand. But heck of a play by Goins to make that one even close.
Well, even just to catch the low throw, he took the one hop throw from Navarro and then took the glove right to the bag. So now the umpiring crew, the crew chief is Dana Demute. He's at first. And watch the glove go right to the base. You talk about a replay that's going to show you the action.
Slid right into the glove.
He's out.
Yep.
Well, what a great tag. What a great replay by our crew to have that so locked in there at second. So it looks like this one might get overturned on the challenge.
You know what he did, which was correct? On top of being very fast on that replay that we just saw, he showed him the back of the glove and had him slide right into the back of that glove. And what that does, that's tough to dislodge that ball out of the mitt. When you turn that glove over and let him slide right into the fingers. Right there. And right away, Ryan Goins said, let's take a look at this one. Look at the back of the glove. Bam, right into it.
Yeah, you can see the webbing of the glove collapsing under the pressure of that foot hitting the glove.
What that does is it doesn't jam your wrist or sprain your wrist when the two collide.
Now the umpires have their decision, and he's going to be called out. And that's the right call. So the video challenge overturned, and Navarro acknowledges the bench for challenging that. Goins with a great assist on putting that quick tag on DeShields.
That is now 8 for 17 that Navarro has caught this season behind the plate. He was quick, and a nice play by Goins to finish it.
Big out for the Blue Jays. And Navarro has thrown out 8 of the last 10. And he's done a terrific job serving as a backup catcher to Russell Martin. You know, that's the toughest thing for a guy that doesn't play every day, is to come in and throw the ball well. They just don't have enough practice to stay sharp. But I think he's picked up some of the moves of Russell Martin by getting his feet turned.
Yes, he's very quicker. He's much quicker with his feet, and he turns quicker and releases the ball a little bit faster.
Boy, Navarro has really played well. He's called a great game for Estrada and for Burley when he has that opportunity, and he is throwing as well as he ever has. Full count to Sin-Shu Chu. He struck out on a changeup his first time up. Prince Fielder waits on deck. He too was a strikeout victim in the first. Pulled to first. Encarnacion will wave off Estrada and step on the bag. Well, what a turnaround. And once again, Pat, the defense making good plays to support this pitching staff. The play in second was terrific to start the inning.
Early in the season, it seemed like the defense, at times they would make good plays, but as a team, as a whole, they just were not playing very good defense, and it was costing in ball games. Plays in the outfield that were having trouble, plays at shortstop, plays all over the infield and outfield, I thought. Ever since they started plugging those holes with Tulowitzki and Revere, Smoke is playing just a little bit more. This defense has been fun to watch. The play that Ben Revere made in yesterday's game, where he went up against the wall out there and made a catch, I mean, that could have changed early in the ball game the complexion of that game.
That catch was made in the third inning in a 2-2 game, bottom of the third, and it was up against the wall. Delino DeShields was the leadoff batter. It was going to be extra bases, 2 at least, maybe 3 to start that inning, and he made a catch right up against the wall. Fielder strikes out, and again the defense helping out Estrada. Great tag at second. Good throw by Navarro. Navarro and Goings teaming up to cut down DeShields. We'll go to the fourth. So 1-0 Rangers.
Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
We are in Texas. The Blue Jays wrapping up their road trip. They have gone from Philadelphia to Los Angeles, Anaheim to be exact, and now to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. What a creative fan base they have created. Mount Crushmore that features the top of the lineup for the Blue Jays.
I like that. That is very creative. You know, they've been looking for something for the Blue Jays and the offense and what it brings. I like it. think that one's going to stick.
Edwin Encarnacion's back to the dugout, and what they're waiting on is the home plate umpire has left the field for the moment. And you got to think in the heat, maybe he's down getting some extra fluids or something, but now he's popping out of the runway and he's prepared to go behind the plate. That's Paul Martin. And, you know, of course, the players get to leave the field every half inning, and not the case for the umpires. So both training staffs will keep an eye on the umpires, and the bat boys will make sure they get plenty of water and get an opportunity to stay as cool as possible on this sweltering day.
They'll get that ammonia water treatment at some time during the game. You could lose 10-12 pounds on a day like today.
You betcha. Bautista, Encarnacion, and Navarro for the Blue Jays. They trail by a run. They managed just 2 hits, couple of singles. Navarro and Ben Revere with those base hits. The Blue Jays have homered in 16 straight road games, a total of 31 home runs during those 16 road games. But Gallardo, he is tough.
Yeah, he's only given up 11 home runs all season long. He keeps the ball down. He's got good movement on it.
You can see the shift once again has slid over to a 3-man defense on the left side.
It's really interesting what the Texas Rangers are doing with Bautista. They'll start with the traditional 2 infielders on each side of the diamond. But then as the count goes a little bit longer, if it's a count where Bautista 2-0, let's say, where he's going to get a fastball, think he's going to pull it, they'll then move that second baseman over and have 3 infielders on the left side of the infield. If it gets to 2 strikes, we have seen them then shift back over there. It's really interesting.
Yeah, Hanser Alberta, the second baseman, was discussing where he should play with Elvis Andrews, the shortstop. Close pitch. Boy, there's a gaping hole between Mitch Moreland, the first baseman, and the second baseman, Hanser Alberta. Bautista bounces it to short. Big hop for Andrews. 1 down. Edwin Encarnacion, he has had a 21-game hit streak, and on this road trip he's been swinging the hot bat, of course. 11 hits in Philly, LA, and Texas.
You know, and it doesn't matter what type of pitch it is or where it is. He's hitting everything, and he's hitting everything hard. Look at some of these pitches at the top of the strike zone, some fastball cutters and change-ups, and then you go down in the strike zone. He's able to knock those out of the ballpark. He's been pulling balls. He's been hitting some balls to right field. And these are the kind of grooves that the Blue Jays have been waiting for from Edwin. Remember last year in May when he was super hot and actually carried that team offensively to that very good record in May? This is very reminiscent of that stretch that he had last year in May.
Of course, this is the longest hit streak of his career. The Blue Jays have many stars in their lineup now, and it seems as though each has taken their turn at leading the offense. There are times when you could match up any 2 hitters in this lineup and say these 2 guys are carrying the team right now.
Or don't let these 2 guys beat you. Can't say that anymore.
2 hopper to short. Andrews for a second time this inning throws out Encarnacion. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Matt Shoemaker, just recalled from the minor leagues, goes 7 1/3, allows no runs on 1 hit. He's out of the game now. They've turned things over to Joe Smith, and soon to follow him will be Houston Street. Tigers trailing 1-0 in that ball game. Gianna Navarro singled in his only at bat. taking all the way. It's 1-1 to the Blue Jays catcher. Cued off the end of the bat, squibbed up the third base line, but that's a foul. John is now 31 years old. He began his career with the New York Yankees. Came up in 2004, late in the season, and got into 5 games, had 7 at-bats in that first season. But he sat down in the bullpen in 2004 with Gary Tuck. And they would talk about pitching and how you pitch to batters. He sat there for a month and learned an awful lot. Then he went from the Yankees to the Dodgers. And the irony is that he is now reunited with Russell Martin. Yan Navarro was the everyday catcher for the Dodgers in 2006 and got a foul chip off the hand. Russell Martin was called up, and Martin then took over the job every day.
I'll tell you, he does a good job of calling a game and finding weaknesses in the opposition and then matching them up with the strengths of his pitcher that day.
These two have really done a great job of sharing their information and pulling for one another. And during the course of a game, if Navarro sees something that's going on, he'll pass that information along to Russell Martin. Checks his swing, and no swing. According to Ed Hickok's down at third. But Navarro went from the Dodgers to the Tampa Bay Rays, and that's where he really took off as a player and was part of that World Series team for Tampa Bay in 2008. Navarro hit .353 in the World Series against the Phillies. Full count, 2 outs. Blue Jays trail by a run. Kevin Pillar is on deck. He grounded into a double play. Navarro, for his career, is a .254 hitter. This season, of course, was interrupted by a hamstring pull in May and missed about a month. He was swinging the bat well at that time. In fact, when he pulled his hamstring, he was in the midst of a 3-hit game.
Hit a double. He had to pull up at second base and come out of the game after that base hit. Right onto the disabled list.
That's going to be a foul ball down the right side up against the wall. He's going to need a new bat. That bat shattered as that ball was near the label. All of these hitters have different ways of getting a good grip on that baseball bat. You can see the pine tar up around the label of that bat, but then he uses that spray pine tar, if you will.
Stick 'em. There's a stick 'em stick right there. That thing might melt this afternoon.
Yeah, that is a solid pine tar. The pine tar rag is that red rag folded up, and they pour liquid pine tar on there to get a good grip on the bat. Well, winning the bat, a 2-out walk for Navarro. Second walk issued by Gallardo. This is a good test of your will today. Playing in the sweltering heat. Blue Jays have had a good road trip at 6-1, but they're not finished. They got a tough homestand coming up. Detroit, Cleveland, and the Baltimore Orioles. A 9-game homestand over a span of 10 days.
You know, it would be so easy to say, you know what, we've had a successful road trip, shut it down, and, you know, think about tomorrow's series opener against Detroit. Blue Jays don't think like that.
Pillar goes after the first pitch. Moreland into foul territory. He gives way to Alberto, who makes the catch, the second baseman, into foul ground. So the Blue Jays will leave a base runner. We'll head to the bottom of the fourth. It's a 1-0 ball game.
pool with the Sportsnet Magazine NHL Fantasy Pool Guide. It's available now on newsstands or visit sportsnet.ca/magazine for more details. Buck?
Hard to imagine, but the hockey season is just around the corner. We're only a few days away from September. College football is starting up, and of course that's a big deal down here in Texas. Texas Longhorns and Texas Christian lately. Baylor's got a great football program over in Houston.
Texas A&M. They're everywhere.
Yep, lots of football played down here, and high school football is a big deal. We have a lot of high school football preview shows down here. That shows you how big high school football is.
High school preview shows.
High school football preview shows where they break down the high school teams. This is Adrian Beltre, the cleanup man. He takes one on the outside corner for a strike. Beltre single into right center in his first at bat. That helped the Rangers score their run in the first, as DeShields went first to third on the Beltre single and then was knocked in by Mitch Moreland. Beltre's in his 5th season with the Rangers, and he's been dealing with a very bad thumb, or the ligaments in his left thumb.
You know, he can look so bad sometimes at that plate, and within the same at bat come up with a big base hit. We've seen him swing and go down to one knee. You see him take pitches where he's up, skipping in that dugout or in that batter's box, falling down. But I'll tell you what, then you make a mistake and he jumps all over it.
This is popped up into shallow right. Bautista over near the foul line will get there and makes the catch. A long run, he stayed with it and made the catch. One down. Mitch Moreland has the only RBI in this ball game. He had a first inning 2-out single to right that drove home Delino DeShields with the only run of this game. Moreland's an original Ranger. He was a 17th round pick in 2007. Played college baseball at Mississippi State, where he was a right fielder and a closer. He pitched in college. Having a fine season. He has set a new career high this season with 67 RBIs. It's this one deep to right, but Bautista's got room just before he hits the wall. 2 down.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Welcome back to Texas, and certainly horses and heat always something to think about down here. That's a beautiful statue and a fountain not far from this ballpark. 2 outs for the shortstop, Elvis Andrus. Shows bunt, pulls the bat back in time. One count to Andrews. Strike 2. Took a shot at that outside corner again and missed. It's 2-2. You see, Pilar is shaded a bit toward the right, favoring the right side of center field. This ball is pulled, and it's going to be extra bases. Bounces up against the wall. Andrews is headed for second, and he'll coast into second with his 24th double of the season.
Driving the ball just a little bit more of late, swinging a little bit harder. This time Marco Estrada is going to leave a changeup out over the plate. And Andrews rifles that ball down the left field line for extra bases. And that was just the 4th hit of the afternoon for the Texas Rangers, but they find another runner in scoring position.
And a tough bat at the plate. Will Venable has pinch hit twice in his series. He gets the start in left field today. For the season between the Padres and the Rangers, he's hit well with runners in scoring position. Goes after that first pitch. Venable batting .362. A chance to drive in a run. For me, you really got to be careful with Venable here. You got a right-handed hitter on deck, and just got to make sure you don't make a mistake to him right now.
You got a base open over there at first base.
There's a pickup at second, and Andrews is back just ahead of the tag. Goins snuck in behind Andrews, and Estrada made a pretty good throw.
Not a bad idea right there with 2 outs. That runner's going to think about getting a bigger lead, so you try and keep him close to that bag, maybe throw a pickoff play on. Told you the defense has been playing so much better for the Blue Jays.
Every time you make a move on a base runner like that, you shorten up his lead maybe 2-3 feet. And that would be pivotal if there's a base hit.
Could be the difference of being out or safe at home plate.
Ball and a strike to the Rangers left fielder. He fouled it back, and Navarro liked it. You could see him acknowledge the location of that last pitch. Janner's always a pitcher 2 ahead in an at-bat. He said, okay, I'll throw this one, and then if I get the desired result, that'll lead me to the next one.
Yeah, he is always thinking 2, 3, 4 pitches ahead of the at-bat. And that's what Marco said. I just cannot keep up with him. He's so smart. So that high fastball might lead to a breaking ball here, or some kind of off-speed pitch.
And he gets his strikeout. Came back with a fastball. That's a big strikeout for Estrada. As he strands another base runner, we'll go to the 5th. It's a 1-0 ball game. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn.
MLB Live Tracker. Get play-by-play updates, batter hit zone charts, real-time win percentage, and it is live during every MLB game. To access it, simply click on any baseball game matchup on sportsnet.ca or through the Sportsnet app during the game. A perfect companion buck for those who love baseball.
Well, this time of the year it gives you an opportunity to look around at all the different games, and if you were searching right now, you take a look in Detroit, and the Angels have a 1-0 lead over the Tigers, and Albert Pujols with the only RBI in that game, and they are in the top of the ninth. 2 hits for Detroit. J.D. Martinez and Anthony Ghost with the only 2 hits of the ball game. The Blue Jays need to get something going. They've got Ben Revere at the plate. Takes one off the plate inside. It's 2 balls and no strikes.
Could easily be a 1-1 game right now if not for that great play by Venable in left field back in the second inning. Ben Revere was the runner in scoring position.
Hooks this one to right. Another base hit for Ben Revere. He's 2 for 2 this afternoon. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Dodgers and the Giants, they're headed for a head-to-head confrontation in that NL West. Zach Greinke picks up his 14th win of the season against 3 losses. Greinke allowed no runs on 4 hits over 7 innings and struck out 9. Dropped his ERA to 1.61.
How about the dogfight in the National League Central?
That doesn't even seem fair, does it?
No, they've got 3 teams with 3 of the best records in the National League. All of them 20 games over 500. Only one of them can win the division.
The Cardinals, they're not slowing down for anybody. Cliff Pennington with Revere at first. Outside. There's the NL Central. The Cardinals 4.5 up on the Pirates, and the Cubs are 7.5 back.
Those are the 3 best records in the National League. The Cubs 7.5 games back with 73 wins. That's better than any other team except those 2 ahead of them.
This is a foul ball down the left side. The Mets are the only team other than those 3 teams to have 70 wins in the National League. And the Mets have a 6.5 game lead over the Nationals in the National League East.
It just sets up for a great September, I think, in all of baseball.
There are 3 teams in the American League that have 70 or more wins. Kansas City has 77. Both the Blue Jays and the Astros have 71. Cliff Pennington, and there'll be a throw to first base. Go back to the Pennington at bat back in the second.
2 outs with a runner at second base, and they were playing shallow against Pennington. And Cliff almost cashed in with his ball to left field, but Will Venable with a great catch to keep it at 1-0.
Ben Revere does something very unusual for a base stealer. When he dives back into a base, he keeps his hand very close to his shoulder. He doesn't extend out. And there's a reason for that, I believe, that a lot of guys are worried about dislocating their shoulders when they dive back in, not running here. You know how you reach and then you land hard on your body and that shoulder can pop out, but he keeps his hands very close to his body. His elbows are tucked in tight, and he doesn't get much extension to reach out and get to that bag before the first baseman applies the tag.
We might see one right here because this is a very good running situation for the Blue Jays.
He bluffed a break and wasn't going. It's now 3 balls and a strike. Move the runner here, not necessarily hit and run, but you start the runner and give Pennington the opportunity to swing.
Yes, and if it's not a strike, you just take it and it'll be ball 4. Managers like to run in this situation.
There he goes. Ball is pulled to right. He's going to have to pick up the baseball, and they're going to have a shot at doubling him up, and they do. So the Rangers have played good D here this afternoon. Pennington twice has hit the ball sharply. He was robbed by Venable, and now he hits into a 9-3 double play.
Yeah, it's going to cost him 2 outs right here. Revere, they send the runner, which is the right thing to do. He hits it hard, the right thing to do, but unfortunately for the Jays, it's right at the right fielder. And Revere is all the way to the bag by the time that ball is caught, and Chu's going to pick up his 5th outfield assist. It's an easy play for the Rangers.
Yeah, that's the gamble you take when you start that runner on a 3-1 pitch, and everybody's aware, boy, you hit a liner, that's going to be an easy double play. Aaron Goins takes the first pitch strike. Blue Jays have grounded into a double play and now lined into a double play. Ryan Goins just looks like a different hitter now. And you made a great point about how relaxed he is at the plate, and there's not an awful lot of movement. So that keeps his head still. Jacoby has done a terrific job with all of these hitters, taking their strengths and maximizing their abilities. Eric Owens and Brooke Jacoby have been a terrific tandem. And they're both very quiet. Don't say a whole lot.
Players respect them and they like to work. Those hitting coaches that come in here and they start saying, well, you can't do that, or you can't do this, and you need to do this and change this. They're not that type of hitting coaches. They'll say, well, what do you think? What do you think your strength is? Well, how can we get you to get to that point? So you start tinkering with things and you work with things, and next thing you know, the Blue Jays got some pretty good hitters up and down this lineup.
Little tapper back to the mound. Gallardo handles it easily. And that leadoff base hit by Ben Revere, not a factor. 3 up, 3 down. They'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Texas still holding on to a 1-0 lead.
One store. J-Shop is Canada's official team shop of your Toronto Blue Jays, bringing together the largest selection of Blue Jays products anywhere. Visit us online at jshop.ca. And Buck, there's a gentleman in a Jays jersey behind me that's been keeping me nice and cool, spraying me with a fan, and the Blue Jays trainers, Mark Frostad, they've done a great job at supplying me with towels and water, and it's been great this afternoon, I can tell you.
Barry, you need an umbrella.
Got one of those too.
That's perfect.
Well, get under it. Get in the shade.
They moved to the bottom of the 5th, and Marco Estrada and his former teammate Giovanni Gallardo are matched up in a pitcher's duel. 8-9-1 for the Rangers. Bobby Wilson, the catcher, grounded out short in his only at bat. fouls it back. Fifth inning, Marco Estrada gave up a first inning run and nothing since. He has scattered 4 hits over the first 4 innings of this ball game.
Walked that leadoff batter to lead off the ball game. Wouldn't you know that he would come around to score on a 2-out hit? But since then, he has really been in command. Given up a couple of hits since that first inning, a single, and then he was wiped off with the caught stealing by Navarro.
Changeup is pulled foul.
5 strikeouts now for Marco through 4 innings.
His numbers are down in starts and innings because he began the season working out of the bullpen. This is his 21st start of the season. Pulled toward third. Donaldson takes the short hop, throws on the run. 1 down.
Save during Canada's Color Expert Sale. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Hot afternoon in Arlington, Texas, and Blue Jays are trailing 1-0. Lionel DeShields drives this one to left. Long run for Revere. He makes a heck of a catch. Hanser Alberto drove the ball to left, and Ben Revere, he extended and takes another extra base hit away from the Rangers.
Goodness gracious, he has played left field so well for the Blue Jays since they acquired him from Philadelphia. We talked about the one last night where he went up against the wall. Here it is right here. This was off of the line of the Shields. It looked like 2, maybe 3. But Revere goes back, times his leap perfectly, takes away extra bases from DeShields. That time he takes extra bases away from Alberto. And that was a leadoff hit too. This one right here was the second out of the inning, but what a play by Revere.
Boy, those defensive plays, they really stand out in a 1-run ball game. And we talked about Goins making a great tag earlier in the game on a steal attempt by DeShields, and now Ben Revere in left robs Hanser Alberto of an extra base hit. Pitchers love that.
Yeah, gets him out of the heat. You know, the Blue Jays in the outfield, they've had so many problems out there this season, but once they got Ben Revere and they put him out there, the whole outfield defense has been so good. And balls that look like are going to be base hits or extra base hits, it's been running them down.
And you know what happens too when you have Revere in left field, that takes pressure off Kevin Pillar. So he can shade to the other side of the field. He doesn't have to be so aware of the alley. Don't have to worry about Bautista in right, of course. But with Revere's presence in left, that really frees up Kevin Pillar. Cover a little bit more ground in center.
For too many games, they had to use infielders in the outfield, and it really cost them a couple of games this year.
Estrada, he didn't want to do that. The second time he has walked DeShields, and it comes with 2 outs here in the 5th. So Pete Walker, he's on the phone down to the bullpen, and the Blue Jays are going to start moving around out in left center field in that bullpen. Everybody scrambling for their glove and just trying to sort things out. Shin-Soo Choo. DeShields was caught stealing in the 3rd inning. It's a high changeup for a strike. The Shields had 101 stolen bases in the minor leagues in 2012. Just a little flare, and that's going to drop on a warning track. Foul.
You got to believe that he's going to try and steal right now. Marco Estrada's out pitches are a great changeup and a very good curveball. And if you got those type of off-speed pitches, those are the best pitches to run on. With 2 strikes now, I'm sure they're going to try and run. Blue Jays can counter that by maybe pitching out since they're ahead of 2-0-2.
Not running here, and they come right at Chu. He strikes out. So once again, the Blue Jays flashing the leather in this 1-run ball game. Ben Revere with 1 out goes into the corner in left field, extends full out, and takes extra bases away from Henzer Alberto. That helps protect that 1-run deficit. Is the major league leader in runs scored, RBIs, and extra base hits. Now those are 3 of the most important offensive categories, and it's been a long time since anybody's done that.
And it's very rare. You have to go all the way back to 1963 when none other than Hank Aaron did it with 121 runs. He knocked in 130, and he had 77 extra base hits. And that's just one of a few great hitters. I mean, all-time Hall of Fame types of hitters that the Blue Jays, that have had that record.
Tulowitzki hits it to third base. Beltre makes a nice throw. To re-emphasize the significance of what Donaldson is doing right now, he's leading the major leagues in extra base hits, RBIs, and runs. The last major leaguer to do that for a season was Hank Aaron in '63. And the list of major leaguers that have accomplished it is very impressive. Babe Ruth did it 3 times. Lou Gehrig in 31, Ted Williams in 42, Duke Snider in 55, and Mickey Mantle in 56. Hall of Famers all.
Great players, some of the iconic players in all of baseball. Mickey Mantle, 1956, that was a Triple Crown season.
And that was his first of 3 MVP years.
And then, of course, Hank Aaron in 1963, 52 years ago, the last time a major leaguer led all of baseball in extra base hits, RBIs, and runs. And Josh Donaldson's doing it this year.
And you know what's really impressive about that? Nobody did it during the PED era. With Bonds hitting 73 home runs and McGuire and Canseco, everybody putting up those ugly offensive numbers. Well, Josh Donaldson is doing it at a time where the perception is that the pitching is dominant. Donaldson is 0 for 2 with the strikeout. And he'll take a 1-out walk. So Bautista is aboard, and the teams have always really played exaggerated defensive alignments against Bautista.
It's really interesting what the Rangers have been doing against Jose. Let's take a look at this. This is the first pitch, and just keep watching the second baseman, how he's going to just keep moving as the pitch in the sequence and the at bat gets a little bit longer. This is a 2-0 count right here. He's going to shift over to the left side. Stayed there for a couple of pitches, and then once it got to 2 strikes, he's going to cover up that hole over on the right side again. It ended up being an 8-pitch at bat against Jose Bautista, but he just kept moving depending on the count and the situation. Very interesting.
Very interesting as well is the fact that Giovanni Gallardo is out of the ball game here in the 6th inning with 1 out. Yoni Keller is coming in to face Bautista. Kind of a surprising move in the middle of this game, early to go to the bullpen. The Rangers have a 1-0 lead. ...101 pitches on this sweltering afternoon day here in Arlington, and he will turn things over to Keone Kela, who faced Bautista on Tuesday night. Got him to pop out.
Very interesting indeed. I guess Jeff Bannister, the manager of the Texas Rangers, does not want Gallardo to face the meat of the order, so he wants to bring in a fresh arm, and it's a good arm. 6-5, 279 earned run average for Kela. He ranks among AL relief leaders in decisions. He's got 11 decisions coming out of the bullpen.
Bautista takes ball 2 inside. Keller pitched on Tuesday night, as we mentioned. He faced Bautista, Encarnacion, and Colabello, and retired the side in order. Gallardo threw 101 pitches. What an eye. Bautista walked 4 times last night. He's walked once this afternoon. Bautista with 79 base on balls. Encarnacion waits on deck. A 4-pitch walk. First batter that Keller faces, and that's asking for trouble.
Well, that's not what they had in mind when they went to the bullpen. Usually pretty reliable throwing strikes, but he wasn't even close on 4 of them, and that's going to bring Mike Maddox, pitching coach for the Rangers, right out to the mound.
Well, Gallardo holding the Blue Jays to 3 hits here this afternoon in 5 1/3. He allowed 3 hits in 8 1/3 the last time he faced him in Toronto. So 13 2/3, 6 hits, and no damage whatsoever. I'm surprised they made the move.
And you look at those career numbers. We were talking about that earlier. Blue Jays were hitting coming into this game. Just 189 against Gallardo. So they take him out to go to the bullpen here. Just the 6th inning.
All 6 hits against Gallardo that Blue Jays have picked up this season have been singles. So it's an interesting move. He's in line for his 100th career win. 1 out, runners at first and second for Edwin Encarnacion. He's got 23 ribbies in the month of August. Boy, when he takes a pitch and comes off that back leg, that really shows you that he's seeing the ball well.
Seeing it and then recognizing it early out of the hand, and then he gets himself ready. Walks were a problem for the Rangers in last night's ball game.
There goes Donaldson. They got a great jump. Donaldson slides in safely. Oh, what a timely steal. Donaldson broke for third. He's 5 for 5, and Bautista followed him into second. The Blue Jays pull off the double steal.
They just stopped looking at him. They just forgot about the runners, and he got a nice little running head start at second base. They're not even paying attention to him, and he takes off. Kudos to Edwin Encarnacion to take the pitch. It was a strike, but he took a pitch and gave the runners a chance to advance.
Well, he was trying to hit that ball to the outfield. They got a pitch up in the zone and found it straight back. Now it's 1-2. They mentioned Encarnacion with 23 ribbies in August. The only man with more is his teammate Josh Donaldson with 28.
There's some sluggers right now, and they need a big one right here again from Edwin.
During this 21-game hit streak, Encarnacion has raised his batting average 30 points. He has grounded out twice so far this afternoon, 0 for 2. Full count. Deanna Navarro is standing on deck. Bobby Wilson, the catcher, after that last pitch, hustled out to the mound. They want to talk about this next pitch with Encarnacion. You got a base open. And let me tell you something. Deanna Navarro could put the bat on the ball.
Yeah, he's come up with a lot of base hits right here. I think you got to pitch to the batter. I don't think you can start thinking about, well, we'll put this guy on and hope for a double play.
Ground ball foul over Josh Donaldson's head. Texas has a 1-0 lead. The Blue Jays threatening here in the top of the 6th. Donaldson with a 1-out walk. Bautista walked right behind him, and they pulled off a double steal. Encarnacion covers that outside pitch.
Keller's got strikeout stuff. He's got a good arm, mid-90s fastball and a sharp breaking ball. But you're facing a pretty hot hitter right now in Encarnacion. He's trying to get the ball in play, get it into the outfield somehow.
Hanging tough. He fouls off that off-speed pitch. The thing the Blue Jays don't do as a team, they don't strike out much. They have the 4th fewest strikeouts in the American League.
And they will take their share of base on balls.
Popped up. That's going to be in the seats, out of play.
Blue Jays took advantage of 11 walks in last night's ball game by the Rangers. And now a couple of walks here in the 6th inning, giving Encarnacion a chance to drive in a couple of runs.
Another 3-2 pitch. Keller looking into Wilson for the sign. Taking a long time. Off speed pitch. Big strikeout for Keller. Like he threw him a hard slider.
He's got strikeout stuff like we were saying. He's not afraid to use that breaking ball. against Encarnacion. Let's take a look at it one more time, right over the top. And it's got a nice downward break to it. Big strikeout.
Another meeting on the mound. Elvis Andrus, the shortstop, coming in to talk with Keller and Wilson. John Navarro, he's reached base twice. He's singled and then has walked.
You know, now they can talk about maybe pitching around Navarro, or don't give him anything good to hit because you've got the right-hander on deck and there's a couple of outs. Navarro had a great at-bat last time up. 10-pitch walk.
Takes a first pitch strike. I believe you got to pitch to try to get him out. I don't think you could be careful and pitch around him, because if you do that, he's liable to bounce a ball in the dirt. Give Donaldson a chance to score from third. You got to pitch to get him out. Inside. Navarro's got a knack for getting big hits.
Little cat and mouse game going on between Donaldson and Beltre out on the bases. You can see Beltre is playing deep. And the pull for Navarro, so Josh Donaldson's trying to get a huge lead down at third base.
Navarro fouled it straight back to the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Blue Jays have stranded 3 so far in this game. They've got runners at second and third now with 2 outs. He strikes him out. Throw to first to end the inning. What a job by Kelly. He comes in, walks Bautista, but then strikes out Encarnacion and Navarro. The Blue Jays leave a pair. They still trail here in Arlington.
And if you're a Rogers Share Everything customer traveling to the U.S., you can share your experience and stay connected with Roam Like Home for just $5 a day. Visit Rogers.com/RoamLikeHome for more details. And as someone who travels as often as I do, Buck, it is not fun when you get these huge roaming costs when you're on the road. So get the Roam Like Home for $5 a day. It will save you a whole lot of money.
It's a great program, and certainly I'm sure there are a lot of Blue Jay fans that have taken advantage of it this summer. So they've traveled around the league, and lots of Blue Jays play on the road. Well, the Rangers, boy, they got a terrific effort from Keone Kela coming out of their bullpen as he struck out a pair to end the inning. Marco Estrada back to start the bottom of the 6th. Prince Fielder waves at that first pitch, and they started him off with a breaking ball, kind of crossed him up.
Yeah, throwing nothing but junk up there at Prince Fielder, and he just hasn't been able to figure out Estrada. A couple of strikeouts, both of them on changeups.
Chu and Fielder have struck out 4 times. They account for 4 of the 6 Estrada strikeouts today. Yeah, he's geared up for the fastball, and he hasn't gotten many.
Why would you? No need to do that here. Just keep throwing that changeup as Liam Hendricks starts to get loose down in that bullpen.
Bullpen has really been on a roll since the All-Star break. Downstairs with the changeup. There have only been 7 hits in the game. Blue Jays have 3. The Rangers have 4. Estrada walked the first man he faced this afternoon, and Delino DeShields came around to score the only run of the game. Popped up and playable. Goins, the shortstop, gives way to Donaldson, who moves into foul territory, and Fielder is 0 for 3.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Blue Jays are in Arlington, Texas. They'll head home after this game and get ready for the Detroit Tigers 3-game series that starts tomorrow night. Adrian Beltre, he's 1 for 2.
Well, I really enjoy watching Beltre play the game. He can field and hit. I think he's a Hall of Famer. You know, he has the National League record for most home runs by a third baseman in a season. He tied Mike Schmidt. Mike Schmidt did it in 1980. Beltre in 2004 hit 48 home runs as a third baseman with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Finished 2nd in the MVP voting and won the Silver Slugger Award. And he took that great season and turned it into a lucrative free agent contract with the Mariners. That was his last year in Los Angeles, and at the time, you can't ask for a better time to hit free agency. He was 25 years old.
25 years old. Coming off a big season, so he turned that into a big contract. He's been a great player for a long time.
Then he went to Seattle and played 5 seasons with the Mariners and really never had the kind of year they expected. He only hit 103 home runs over those 5 seasons. Big ballpark and a pitcher's ballpark. But so was Dodger Stadium.
That's the irony of those 48 home runs. He did it as a Dodger in Dodger Stadium, not really known as a hitter's ballpark.
He led the American League in doubles in 2010 in his only season in Boston. With the Red Sox, he hit 49 doubles. Hit 321 for the Red Sox. And he'll take it inside. That's the 3rd walk issued by Estrada. Comes with 1 out. Mitch Moreland, first baseman. He has the only RBI. An RBI single with 2 outs in the 1st. This is where the Blue Jays could really benefit from an extra left-handed pitcher in their bullpen. Brett Cecil's done a terrific job as they have moved him down a little bit earlier into the game. But now if you had 2 lefties, you could bring the first one in here to face Moreland in this situation.
And save Brett Cecil if you need him later in the ball game. And what it does also is it forces the hand of the opposing manager. Maybe he goes to the bench and brings in a right-hander here, like a Mike Napoli. Now you have him set up for later in the ball game.
Yeah, and you get Moreland out of the game, and the majority of your arms in the pen are right-handed, so Moreland's bat is now neutralized.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's one part. I'd like to see the Blue Jays pick up that second left-hander in the bullpen. Now, they say the guys get the left-handers out, but it just forces that opposing manager to make decisions.
This is popped up. Donaldson was in the shift. He'll get over into foul ground and makes the catch. And Moreland is retired. Beltre has tagged, and now he's jockeying with Donaldson. But he's not going anywhere. So now Elvis Andrus will bat. Andrus doubled his last time up. He had a high changeup down into the left field corner. He goes after the first pitch changeups out in front. Well, it's been another good ball game. The Blue Jays, the defense has played terrific in the field. Same for the Rangers today. The Rangers defense has allowed them to have a 1-0 lead. Will Venables saved a run early in the game. Strike two. Andrews didn't like the call.
These are statement kind of games, if you will. The Rangers want to make a statement. They've fallen out of the wild card. The Minnesota Twins have actually passed them after the Blue Jays took the first two games in this series. They want to make a statement that, hey, we're going to be around here all season long for the rest of the way.
Way upstairs. Well, you take a look at the wild card race, and there are teams going in and out of the position. The Yankees have a 4-game cushion. Minnesota has the second wild card spot, and then Texas a half game out, tied with the Angels. Baltimore 2 games out at an even 500, 63 and 63.
Angels won that game today versus Detroit 2-0. So they get to within half a game of the wild card.
Marco Estrada is up over 100 pitches here this afternoon. Flying ball. Bautista was shaded near the line. He's right up against the wall, makes the catch in foul territory, and Estrada is through 6 innings. Marco Estrada has allowed just 1 run on 4 hits, but he trails Texas 1-0.
on demand and true HD. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, and pitch tracking, and there is so much more. It also includes an At-Bat 15 subscription. Watch baseball at home, at the office, or on the go. Season-long subscription packages are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. Buck?
New pitcher into the ballgame for Texas is the lefty, Jake Diekman. He pitched a third of an inning on Tuesday night, gave up a single to Ben Revere, and that was it.
And there are his numbers this year. In 49 and a third innings, ERA is .431. He's a big, hard-throwing left-hander. Big fastball and a big slider. He is scoreless in 11 of his first 13 games with Texas. He came over in that Cole Hamels trade from Philadelphia. No home plate umpire again as he's going down to cool off.
Yeah, the home plate umpire has left the field a couple of different times here this afternoon. Paul Martin getting checked on by the crew chief. Kevin Pillar will lead things off. He had a big night last night.
Couple of singles his first time up, first 2 times up, and then this, a long home run to left field off of Colby Lewis. That was Pillar's 8th home run of the season, and it broke a long drought between his 7th and his 8th home run.
42 games between home runs for Kevin Pillar. He was 3 for 5 in that game last night. He knows his job right here in the 7th. Get on base. Foul back. Diekman's got a big fastball at last pitch, 96 miles an hour. Diekman made 42 appearances for the Phillies prior to coming to Texas. And a hard breaking ball. Ben Revere played with Diekman, of course, when they were in Philadelphia, so he has passed along information about Diekman. In fact, pretty good athlete. He'll come right at you. He's pretty aggressive in the strike zone. Yeah,
and you know what you're going to have to do as a hitter. You're going to have to make him throw the ball in the strike zone. You can see on pitch tracker 3 pitches, 3 of them outside of the strike zone, and it counts 1 and 2.
That would bounce well in front of home plate. Diekman spent parts of 4 seasons with the Philadelphia Phillies. Pitched in 191 games for Philadelphia. Never made a start, of course. He worked out of the bullpen exclusively. He was a late round pick in 2007. Pillar called out. He thought that ball was inside, but it may have caught the inside corner. One out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Dan Herron against Madison Bumgarner. Great pitching matchup out in San Francisco in that day game. Ben Revere, we mentioned he had a single against his former teammate. Had a leadoff single against Diekman in the 7th inning on Tuesday night. He's got another hit. Flares it into center. Ben Revere, a 3-hit game this afternoon.
He is now 3 for 3 in his career versus Jake Diekman. You mentioned the hit right back through the middle on Tuesday. Fought that one off. Flared out in the left field, and his ex-teammate was staring at him all the way up the first base line. How can you do this? Watch the pitcher's reaction after that base hit. Like, it's a pretty good pitch. How can you do that?
My old teammate. Diekman does a great job of unloading in a hurry. He doesn't have much of a leg kick. He slide steps, and I asked Revere about running against him. He said he's tough because he unloads the ball so quickly. Cliff Pennington, a switch hitter. Pennington was robbed of an extra base hit in the second by the left fielder Will Venable. It was with 2 outs and certainly would have led to a Blue Jays run.
He also hit a bullet his last time up and didn't have anything to show for it.
Line drive to right that Sin-Shu Chu turned into a 9-3 double play. Pennington fouls it back to the screen. Blue Jays, of course, in this scoreless game haven't homered, and they have homered in 16 straight road games. It's unusual to see this ball club scoreless into the 7th.
They've had their opportunities. They've had chances with a couple of runners on. Good defense by the Rangers stifled some of that. Last inning was great. Golden opportunity for Blue Jays to get on the board. Second and third, just 1 out and couldn't do it.
Just off the plate inside. Close pitch. Blue Jays bullpen with Hawkins and Hendricks both warming up. Sam Dyson, a big hard-throwing right-hander, loosening up for the Rangers. So bullpens are up and working. But Pennington has been an everyday player, so he's got a lot of experience. He takes a close pitch. It's now full count. Goins is on deck. Foul back, and Revere was on the move. He got a late break.
Quick pitched him. Hickman came set very quickly and did not look over at first base. He quick pitched him. They want to set that runner in motion just a little bit. Stay out of the double play. Decision time coming up, I think, for Texas Rangers.
There goes Revere again. Another foul, this time down the right side. Well, there are a lot of possibilities in this part of the ball game with Pennington at the plate. He, of course, trying to reach base. Goins is the next scheduled batter. The Rangers have the upper hand right here. John Gibbons has used Tulowitzki as the DH today. So you look as far as the possibility of pinch hitting for Ryan Goins, but then again, because the Rangers have the lefty in the game, they'd go to Dyson to counteract any move that Gibbons would make.
And really, there's nobody to come in and play unless you use the DH.
You could use the DH, and then Tulowitzki would have to pitcher hitting. So, yeah, there are possibilities, and it's a 1-0 game. You might as well roll the dice if you get 2 guys on and make the Rangers make the move. Could use Colabello. All 4 winning at bat by Pennington, and here is the scenario we talked about. Lefty on lefty. Goins will come up to bat against Diekman.
Well, all he has to do is just having the same kind of at-bats that he has had in this whole series. Recognize that he's given up a walk, so he's going to be all over the place. And of course, that brings Mike Maddox back to the mound after the walk. Seen that a few times in this series.
Yeah, he's been out to the mound several different occasions to talk about the situations and how you're going to pitch to particular batter. Diekman with runners at first and second. Goins at the plate. First time Ryan Goins has ever faced Jake Diekman. Goins for the season, batting .208 against left-handed pitching. But you're right, he's having great at bats. Goins was on base 4 of the 5 times he came to the plate last night. He's 0 for 2 so far this afternoon. First pitch strike. 96 with the fastball from Diekman. Tulowitzki is on deck.
I think what you don't want to do right now is try and pull this guy. He throws too hard, and you got to be ready for that slider. If you can shoot that ball the other way against him.
Off the plate. A ball and 2 strikes. Ben Revere's at second. He has 3 hits this afternoon. Cliff Pennington walked. He's at first. Two and 2. And the Blue Jays pulled off a double steal in the 6th with Donaldson and Bautista. Revere has a stolen base so far this afternoon, but boy, are they shadowing him at second. Ground ball, base hit through the left side. They're going to stop Revere at third. Ryan Goins, what an at bat against a tough lefty. Stayed on it and drove it through the hole on the left side of the infield.
Yeah, once it got 2 strikes, that's what you have to do. You got to fight pitches off. You know Diekman's going to go to that slider, so you try and shoot the ball the other way. Goins comes up with a big base hit against a very tough left-hander, and because the outfielders are so shallow, you got the top of the lineup coming up, you cannot afford to have him thrown out at the plate, so Luis Rivera holds him. This is how you let that ball get deep. Deep, get a little bit closer toward the plate, and Goins comes up with a big base hit.
Big base hit off the lefty. Diekman is out of the game. Jeff Bannister has gone to the bullpen. It's Sam Dyson coming in to face Troy Tulowitzki. Dyson struck out Tulowitzki on Tuesday night. Blue Jays have the bases loaded in this 1-0 game.
Zach against a surprise intruder into Red Hook. Don't miss it. Sunday, 10 o'clock Eastern and Pacific, only on FX.
Well, the Blue Jays have some base runners. Ben Revere getting toweled off in the dugout. He's had a busy day, 3 for 3. He's at third base now. Bases are loaded. Sam Dyson into the ball game.
And there are the numbers for Dyson in 57 games. He came over from Miami. They are looking for the ground ball, and this might be the guy right here. You're going to have to make him get it up. He's got one of the best sinkers in the American League. And you mentioned it, how he faced Tulo the other day, and he threw him nothing but hard sinkers.
He struck him out on a sinker ball down and in to end that at bat. That was the first out of the, second out, top of second, and then he would get Donaldson to pop it. Retired the only 2 batters he faced on Tuesday.
Look for that ball inside. That's where it's going to be.
Ground ball. Beltre at third. Second for 1. Back to first. Double play. Sam Dyson using that bowling ball sinker. It's a huge double play that ends the Blue Jays threat in the 7th. Dyson, one of the best sinkers in all of baseball, gets the ground ball to the Gold Glover at third. Beltre to Alberto back to first to end the Blue Jays threat.
Game series of the Baltimore Orioles at Rogers Center Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, September 4th through the 6th. For tickets, go to BlueJays.com. Liam Hendriks in the game now for the Toronto Blue Jays. And guys, we spoke to his father, Jeff, earlier in the week. Today, Liam told me that up until the age of 16, he debated whether or not he wanted to pursue a career in Aussie rules football or end up going the baseball route. He decided, you know what, I'll give this baseball game a try. If it doesn't work out, I can always go back and play Aussie rules. It turned out he made the right decision. His father, in fact, is still in the Aussie rules game. He's a scout for a team called the Sydney Swans.
Yes, he is. I spoke to him today about that, and Jeff Hendriks very proud of Liam's accomplishments in a game that's not that popular in Australia. 44th appearance for Hendriks in this 1-0 ball game. Bottom third of the Rangers order. Venable shows bunt, takes a strike. Venable, Wilson, and Alberto for Texas. Blue Jays have out-hit the Rangers 5-4, but the Rangers have the only run of the ball game.
They have left more runners on base this afternoon also. They've had their chances against the Rangers, just haven't been able to punch one through yet.
Late on that Hendriks fastball. A ball and 2 strikes. Venable now 32 years old. He played basketball and baseball at Princeton. Grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area at San Rafael. drafted by the Padres in 2005.
Well, you just look at him, you can see he's an athlete. The way he runs, it's a 1-0 game because of Will Venable.
Sure is. He saved a run for the Rangers with a diving catch with 2 outs in the second. He was going away from the infield on a drive by Cliff Pennington. Base hit past Donaldson into left. Venable's aboard with a leadoff single. So Bobby Wilson, the catcher, looks like an opportunity for the Rangers to bunt. Here's a look at that swing from Venable.
Just out of the reach of Josh Donaldson and into left field. And yeah, you got to figure that he's going to try and sacrifice this runner into scoring position. 1-0 ball game.
He has grounded out twice, so he would certainly be a candidate for a double play. Teams will often tell the pitcher to throw to first in this situation to see whether or not the batter might tip his hand. Slide the hand up the barrel of the bat, showing bunt. Donaldson crashes from third. Ball's popped up, but back over the screen. Well, Donaldson, he was really in quickly.
He was guessing bunt all the way, and he was hard charging from third base. You get that ball bunted to you like that, and you can go to second base and turn a double play on a bunt attempt. Watch Josh. He starts in on the grass, and then as the pitcher gets ready to go, remember the batter is concentrating on that pitcher. Here he comes. If that thing is anywhere close, and look at him chasing after that ball, even though it's fouled into the seats.
They got him. Absolutely picked him off. Hendricks with a quick move, and Venable a little over anxious at first base. What a big pickoff for Hendricks.
They took the bunt off. They were going to play hit and run right there, and that's why Venable got picked off. You can see him just lunge towards second base like he was going to go on the pitch. Smart play by Hendricks to recognize that they might take the bunt off because of Donaldson charging like that. Throw over there and pick him off.
A big out now with Bobby Wilson at the plate. Number 8 hitter. He drives it foul down the left side.
Boy, that's being in the game, isn't it? And understanding the situation and what they might do. They show bunt on the first pitch, foul it off. They took it off. They're putting the hit and run on. And Venable gets picked off.
Everybody's focus is spot on. Every play seems to be important. We've seen great defense from the Blue Jays on this road trip. The pitchers have made terrific pitches all throughout the road trip. Donaldson, Encarnacion, Bautista all swinging hot bats. Ben Revere having a great road trip. Wilson pokes it down the right side. That's a fair ball. Bautista over to cut it off. And that pickoff looms much larger now with the Wilson single to right. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Bobby Wilson at first with 1 out. Hanser Alberto. He was robbed of an extra base hit in the 5th. Terrific running catch by Ben Revere in left.
You know, you were talking about defense before that base hit by Wilson. Great defense isn't just great catches in the outfield. You know, everybody can do that. Great defense is what we just saw from Liam Hendricks being in the ball game. I don't know if that came from the bench or if he did that on his own or Navarro told him to throw over to first base. That's great defense, recognizing the situation. and having something in your arsenal to get the outs.
And by Josh Donaldson being so aggressive, that probably discouraged the Rangers from trying to bunt. He was right in on top of Bobby Wilson, so he said, you know what, we can't bunt in this situation. Let's take it off. And that got Venable all excited over first. He was looking for a good jump, and Hendricks picked him up.
It's good defense. Now they got to close out the inning.
Late on that fastball again, and Alberto pops it into the seats. Alberto's playing because Rougned Odor took a ball off the fingernail on a ground ball from Kevin Pillar on Tuesday night and knocked his fingernail almost clearly off his middle finger, and he's still unavailable. There's a base hit. Alberto stayed back and hit that breaking ball into left field. So that's 3 hits off of Hendricks since he's come into the game. Wilson moves to second.
He's been able to jump ahead of him, but he has not been able to finish him off. This is a breaking ball that's down. It's not a bad pitch. It's down. And Alberto cheering for himself after that base hit to left field.
You ever cheer for yourself?
No. Not up the first base line like that for everybody to see.
Maybe in the locker room quietly. It's a 1-0 game, and Liam Hendricks wants the new baseball. Back to the top of the order. The liner to Shields. He's been on base all 3 times he's come to the plate. 2 walks and a base hit. First pitch, strike 2. The liner to Shields. That's Rougned Odor. He's got a helmet on, and he's just taped up that finger. He looks like he might be getting ready to come in and pinch run. He's not on the disabled list. Ground ball, base hit through the right side. Bobby Wilson's a catcher. They're going to stop him, and Bautista overruns the ball. Wilson comes in to score. Alberto's right behind him, and here comes the liner to Shields. The throw to the plate is not in time. A big error in right leads to 3 runs for the Rangers. Bobby Wilson was running from second to third, and he was stopped. Bautista just missed the ball.
He was going to be held up at third base. But Jose, in his haste to get that ball, you can see they haven't figured out the Shields yet as he shoots that ball to right field. But Jose comes in very quickly. The ball gets by him, and it's got enough steam on it. He can't slow it down. It goes all the way into right center field. By the time the Blue Jays can get it back in, the Shields circles the bases. It looks like they're going to appeal the runner at third base.
And now the umpire is asking which base runner. And he's saying which base runner. And they say, okay. The umpire said safe, but there was all 3 base runners came around, and now John Gibbons is going to come out. But you have to appeal by going on the rubber, stepping off the rubber, and then you ask. And now they're going to ask for a review. But you have to be specific about which runner. There's one runner stepping on the base. That's Bobby Wilson. He stopped, and now here comes Alberto around. The umpire standing right on top of the bag, and finally the liner to Shields. So John Gibbons is appealing one of these base runners as to whether or not he touched third, and they'll go to the replay to have a look.
Well, certainly see something right there. That shot that we had, the umpire was in perfect position, and he watched all 3 of those runners tag the base. But the Blue Jays, they obviously saw something that they want to take a look at this one. And now Manager Jeff Bannister was getting an explanation on that appeal play.
Well, you have to identify which base runner you're questioning and the appeal. That's why the umpire was hesitant to make any calls. He was asking Donaldson, which base runner are you questioning? So Hendricks has given up 4 straight hits, and then the Bautista error as he just missed it.
You know what happens on balls like that? The ball snakes when it comes out into the outfield. Just the way that the grass is cut, it actually moves back and forth. And if you don't keep that ball in front of you, it has a chance to get by you like it just did.
There are 2 fields that I can remember in the American League where the ball does that. Anaheim and here. And it's such a tightly cut field that ball will roll. Bautista's aware of that. That's not an excuse for him missing the ball, but it will come out there, and it was hard hit, and the ball was moving, and he just missed it. So the play is a base hit for the Shields. There's no RBIs on the play, and Bautista's charged with his 3rd error of the season. Sin Shu Chu with nobody on and 1 out. Four to nothing Texas. Hendricks threw just a 1/3 of an inning, actually, on Tuesday. Gave up a hit, walked the batter, and struck out a batter. Only threw 16 pitches Tuesday. Leonard Shields had a big day at the plate. A couple of hits. He's 2 for 2 with 2 walks, and he's scored a pair of runs.
Haven't been able to get him out. Haven't been able to figure him out.
Up the middle, hits the base. Goins was getting in position to make a play and hit second base and bounced past him into center field. Texas getting a lot of breaks here in the 7th.
5 straight hits now for the Rangers against Liam Hendricks. That time, better to be lucky than good. Well, right back through the middle. You can see Goins. Watch him at the top of your screen. He's going to go over and field that ball. It hits the bag and sends it out into center field. Nothing you can do about that.
Goins was up the middle, and he had a good shot at making a play on that ball, but once it hit the bag, it was into center. Prince fielded the DH 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. He gets a base hit. 6 straight hits for the Rangers against Hendricks.
Boy, there's nothing you can do about that. He's making good pitches, and they're just finding the holes against him right now. He has been so good this season for the Blue Jays coming out of that bullpen. Right now, you got to figure out a way to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, the Blue Jays as a unit since the All-Star break have been terrific. Coming into this game, the bullpen had allowed an 186 opponent's batting average since the All-Star break. That's the middle of July. Adrian Beltre, he is 1 for 2 with a walk and a first inning single. Beltre with a wild swing fouls it off the end of the bat. Might have been the best fastball of the inning. He got it inside to Beltre. Shattered bat. Look out in the seats. That barrel goes into the seats. Several rows behind the Blue Jays dugout.
Boy, thank goodness it's not a very big crowd this afternoon. That could have hurt somebody. Liam Hendricks got all in the kitchen of Adrian Beltre and sent this thing flying into the stands. And luckily it hit the seat where nobody was sitting.
That is so dangerous. That barrel goes shooting into the seats, and fortunately everybody appears to be okay. 2 outs now for Mitch Moreland. Moreland is the 8th Ranger to bat in the 7th. Hendricks started the inning and gave up 6 straight hits. For 4-0 Texas. Bail out in a hurry. It's a ball and a strike. Moreland had the RBI base hit in the first. He's got 499 career hits.
Well, let's keep it right there. A base hit right here. It's going to be 2 more runs for the Rangers.
Remember, Hendricks had a pickoff in this inning as well. He picked off Will Venable after he had a leadoff single. Fair ball. Nice play by Encarnacion. He steps on the bag. The Rangers with 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th. They're taking a 4-0 lead. Blue Jays got some work to do. They trail by 4. Josh Donaldson will lead things off. He's 0 for 2 this afternoon. Bautista has walked twice. He's 0 for 1. Encarnacion needs a hit to extend his hit streak to 22 straight. authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Jose Bautista charged with his third error of the season, and a ground ball get away from him. That led to 3 runs for the Rangers in the bottom of the 7th. It is a 4-0 Ranger lead. Donaldson, Bautista, and Encarnacion. Blue Jays had plenty of opportunities early in this game against Giovanni Gallardo. Just couldn't come up with a big hit.
Second inning, they had 2 hits in a double play. Couldn't come up with a run. They had a runner on in the 4th. They had a leadoff hit in the 5th and another double play. A couple more runners on in the 6th, and then the 7th inning, that was their golden opportunity. I thought bases loaded and just 1 out, the top of the lineup up, and Sammy Dyson comes in and gets that double play. Tough to get the ball in the air against this guy.
Dyson has had 2 impressive outings in this series. Another pivotal point of the game in the 6th after the double steal. It was 2nd and 3rd with just 1 out. And Keone Kela came in and he walked Bautista to put him on base, then the double steal, and then he struck out Encarnacion and Navarro.
Blue Jays have had the right guys at the plate. They just haven't been able to connect and come through. Look at that thing. Just dive. First strikeout of the afternoon for Sam Dyson. He's got a 6-to-1 ground ball to fly ball ratio. That's a sinker, but it looks like a splitter, doesn't it? The way that thing moves, goes straight down. It's only given up 2 fly ball outs since Texas has acquired them.
Isn't it amazing how guys will bounce around and finally come to a spot where everything clicks for them?
We saw him when he first made his major league debut with the Blue Jays.
He was drafted out of the University of South Carolina, and Blue Jays got him, and he was hurt. He hurt his arm early on and never really had a great opportunity. Appeared in just 2 games for the Blue Jays in 2012. Ground ball up the middle. Alberta with a terrific glove, but the ball is wide of first base. Bautista will reach with a 1-out single.
Well, when you hit a ground ball against Dyson, you got to hope that you find a hole. That time Jose is going to pick up the base hit. It's the 3rd time that he has been on. A heck of a play by Alberto to get to it, but it's a wild throw.
Edwin Encarnacion will bat with Bautista at first. Edwin is 0 for 3. He has reached base in 26 straight games. Has yet to get aboard here this afternoon. He also has a 21-game hit streak on the line. He's been able to extend it in dramatic fashion the last couple of games.
In grand fashion in yesterday's game, huh?
Hit a grand slam yesterday, hit a home run in the 6th on Tuesday night. There he lost the grip on that bat. See his middle 2 fingers, his middle finger and his ring finger on his left hand are taped together as he's dealing with that knuckle injury. Troy Hawkins has been up a couple times today. He is loosening up. He might be headed into this game for the bottom of the 8th. It's fouled off the catcher's glove.
You mentioned that Dyson, we saw him make his major league debut. He didn't have this type of sinker. I certainly don't remember. He threw hard. Had a pretty good breaking ball, but I don't remember this type of movement on the sinker.
Now, he was not healthy, that's for sure. He grew up in Tampa, and the Blue Jays drafted him out of the University of South Carolina in the 4th round in 2010. Liner into center, and that's going to get down to extend the hit streak and gets past his shields. Bautista's going to score. Encarnacion will stop at second, and the Blue Jays are on the board. Edwin Encarnacion has extended his hit streak to 22 straight and picks up an RBI. That's RBI number 80 for Double E. That's a double as it scooted by the center fielder, DeShields.
Well, when you face a sinker baller like this, you got to make sure he gets the ball up, and that time he did, and Edwin shoots that ball into right center field and hits the ground and just took off and gets right by DeShields, the center fielder, and that allows Bautista to come around to score, and the Blue Jays are on the board.
John Navarro, the catcher. Navarro struck out in the 6th with runners at 2nd and 3rd. Hits this one on the ground. Moreland will go to the bag, and that will be out number 2 as Encarnacion moves to 3rd base. Boy, Dyson looks tough, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. You're going to have to make him get that ball up.
Dyson started with the Blue Jays in 2012. He pitched in Dunedin just 6 games. Then he went to New Hampshire and pitched in 33 games. Pitched very well. Picked up 9 saves in Double-A for the Blue Jays in 2012. Kevin Pillar's 0 for 3. He's hitless in his 3 bats. Well, you can see how much movement he has on that fastball. The swings that Blue Jay hitters are taking. That was 96 with terrific movement, not unlike Aaron Sanchez's fastball.
Yeah, and against sinker ballers, when the ball's moving that much, you can move up in the box to try and catch it, but I don't think that's a good idea because he throws so hard. You're just going to have to make him get that thing up. Know that it's coming in as a sinker, try and square that thing up. You see a lot of those right there, balls that are topped hit the top part of the baseball because it's moving so much.
And it's 98.
Mm-hmm.
Dyson came to the Rangers on July 31st in a trade for Cody Edge and Tomas Tellis. The Marlins took him from the Blue Jays on a waiver deal in 2013. We haven't seen him throw anything but fastballs.
Mm-hmm. With movement all over the place. He's got good command.
Millar's hanging tough. He gets a piece of that last pitch. Another 98-mile-an-hour sinker. And that'll do it. And Dyson is out of the 8th. The Blue Jays are on the board, but the Rangers lead it 4-1. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zong.
is a team in the Minnesota Twins that are right back in the wild card race. Tommy Malone and the Twins face Drew Smyly and the Tampa Bay Rays from Tropicana Field. You can watch that one at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, right here on Sportsnet. Buck?
Minnesota beat Tampa Bay 5-3 in last night's game. Chris Archer, a terrific game, but was on the losing end of that game. But Troy Hawkins into the ball game. It's a 4-1 Rangers. Lead Hawkins on to start the 8th.
There are the numbers for Detroit in his games with Colorado and Toronto. 3-1 with a very nifty 281 earned run average. Hawks only walked 4 batters this season in 32 innings pitched. Sinks that fastball and he'll cut it. Throws a lot of strikes. Very crafty out on that mound.
Elvis Andrus, Will Venable, and Bobby Wilson. 6, 7, and 8 in the Rangers lineup here in the 8th. First pitch inside off the plate. Ball on the strike to the Rangers shortstop. Andrews doubled in the 4th. Upstairs. Ground ball up the middle, past Pennington into center. Andrews with the leadoff single in the 8th.
He'll get his share. Ground ball outs. Looked like he had a shot at it, Pennington, but it goes out into center field for the base hit. That's a second hit for Andrews this afternoon. Good start here in the 8th inning for the Rangers.
Andrews had a hit against Hawkins on Tuesday night. Troy Hawkins pitching the 8th inning. And he got out of a bases loaded jam. He gave up 3 singles in the inning, but was able to get out of it. Well, Venable got to start in left field today, and he's had an impact with his glove and with his bat. He started the 7th inning with the leadoff single off of Liam Hendricks. Then he was picked off by Hendricks at first base. But defensively, he saved a run early in the ball game when he made a 2-out diving catch going away from the infield to rob Cliff Pennington of extra bases.
That would have been a run for the Blue Jays. Ben Rivera was on base. And who knows how that could have changed the complexion of the ball game.
Well, the Rangers defense cost him in the first 2 games, and today it may have saved him. Been a very inconsistent year in the field for Texas. 0-2 pitch inside.
You know what's interesting about that statement is they've got reputation players who are good defenders, but it certainly hasn't appeared that way. Only Oakland's committed more errors than the Texas Rangers.
You know when the Rangers were a good defensive team? When Ron Washington was the manager, and he insisted upon it. Venable strikes out. High pitch up and away. First out of the bottom of the 8th inning.
Yeah, this has always been a good defensive team. The Texas Rangers. Remember, Michael Young was here as that high breaking ball swung and missed. Ian Kinsler played here. Justin Smoke. Pretty good defensive players.
And Ron Washington was a terrific infield coach, and he made sure they constantly get their work in. And he had high standards for the club defensively, and because of that, they went to the postseason several times under Washington.
Game that close to winning the World Series, if you remember that, a few years ago against the Cardinals.
Bobby Wilson singled his last time up. It's going to reach the seats. Looking ahead to the top of the 9th, it's the bottom 3 in the Blue Jays batting order: Revere, Pennington, and Goins. There's a strike. It's called at the knees. Sean Tollison is the closer, and he was charged with a blown save here on Tuesday night. He had a couple of walks that came around to score. The Blue Jays were able to steal that ball game in the 9th.
And blew him out in last night's ball game. Had their chances here, and they're going to need a big finish to sweep this series.
There goes the runner, and Navarro loses the handle. Andrews took off. Navarro trying to make the quick transfer. Dropped the baseball.
He had a big lead over there at first base, and right before Hawkins threw that ball, he took another half a step and almost had a running start at first base, so he'll pick up his 12th stolen base.
He's 12 for 18 in that department. He's in scoring position now. Bautista is really shaded over toward the line in right. Pilar shaded in that direction as well. You can see why.
Yeah.
Bobby Wilson trying to shoot it into right, so Bautista and Pilar have both picked up on it.
Tardy. He's been late on all those pitches from LaTroy Hawkins.
Two-two pitch. Another foul back. One out. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Blue Jays scored in the top half of this inning to make it a 4-1 game. Well, Wilson just protecting that plate, trying to serve it into right. Well, Navarro's going to try to figure out something to end this at bat.
He knows he was trying to stay away from him, so he's just getting enough of that bat on the ball to keep the at bat alive. And when you play the Blue Jays, every run is important. it's important to save it. If you're the Blue Jays, it's important for the Rangers to score it with the type of offense that the Blue Jays have.
And they're going to give him first base, and Navarro didn't think it hit his hand. He's talking to the home plate umpire, and Hawkins said, man, that hit his bat. And Hawkins talking with home plate umpire Paul Nard about that.
And they're going to get something from John Gibbons here. Gibbons going to go out there to take a look at it. Let's see if it's a pitch up and in. It looked like it might have hit the handle of the bat.
They're going to have a look at it, and they're going to look to see whether or not it hit the hand or the bat. And John Gibbons has asked the umpire to have a look at it.
His reaction, Bobby Wilson's initial reaction, was like it hit the bat. I mean, you didn't see him shake his hand or anything like that. Let's see if we can pick something up by listening.
Yeah, Navarro didn't think it hit the hand of Bobby Wilson, but the umpires are going to have a look. This is a reviewable play. A batter hit by a pitch.
You know what I think a key is? He was choked up with 2 strikes. Yeah, right away the home plate umpire said it hit him in his hand, but he's choked up, so you'll be able to see if there's separation from the hand and the barrel of the bat, which there is. And that one clearly looked like it hit off the bottom of the bat.
Well, the Blue Jays challenged a stolen base in the 3rd inning. Delano DeShields had stolen second base. They challenged the call on the field, and they had the call overturned. Brian Goins made a terrific tag on a short hop throw. Quickly tagged the base, and DeShields slid right into his glove. So Gibbons won that one.
How about this? I mean, he's still on the on-deck circle right there. That's evidence for me. If you got hit, you would be down at first base, wouldn't you?
Yeah, he's got a bat. Kind of shows his hand here.
Foul
and they're
ball.
calling it a foul ball.
Yeah, he knew.
So that's the essence of this video challenge, getting it right, and they do. So Wilson will be at the plate. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Andrews is at second with 1 out. Full count now. Number 9 hitter Hanser Alberto, the second baseman, will bat next. There's ball 4 to Wilson. First and second one out. The number 9 hitter, Hanser Alberto. He's hit the ball hard twice tonight, this afternoon. He was robbed of an extra base hit in the 5th and singled and scored in the 7th. Texas scored a single run in the 1st inning, and it was a 1-0 game into the bottom of the 7th. Hawkins in relief of Liam Hendricks. Hendricks had a rough inning in that 7th. This is a pop-up shallow right field. Bautista coming in. Alberto's retired. Hendricks came into the game and he was charged with 3 runs on 6 hits in 1 inning. And it was a rough inning as the Rangers strung together 6 straight hits off of Hendricks. Bautista contributed to the 3 runs for the Rangers by making an error that led to all 3 runs for Hendricks, and that really broke the game open.
They had the bases loaded, and there was a base hit into right field, and Bautista in his haste to come up to try and make the play. Ball got by him, and 3 runners scored. Really broke this thing open early on. Blue Jays had some chances against Giovanni Gallardo. They just couldn't come up with a big base hit.
Gallardo in line for his 2nd win against the Blue Jays this season. And if this holds up, it'll be his 100th career win.
This is the man of the hour, if you ask me. What a game Delino Shields has had for the Rangers.
He walked and scored in the 1st, and as we mentioned, that was the score, 1-0 into the bottom of the 7th. The only run for the Blue Jays came on an RBI double by Edwin Encarnacion. That extended his hit streak to a season high 22 straight games. It's the longest hit streak in the majors this season.
And it was the Shields who had the base hit to right field that we were just talking about, with a couple of runners on. That Bautista let the ball get by him. Well, he didn't let the ball get by him. It just scooted by him. And the Shields, with that great speed, was able to circle the bases.
Two and one now to the leadoff man, the Shields. Troy Hawkins has given up a single and a walk. He's also had a strikeout this inning. Looking ahead to the top of the 9th, Ben Revere, Cliff Pennington, and Ryan Goins are the scheduled batters. That'll be a full count now after the foul ball. 2 outs. The runners at 1st and 2nd will be off on the pitch. Elvis Andrus from 2nd. Bobby Wilson, the catcher, from 1st. Big runs out on the bases for the Blue Jays. You got to keep them from scoring. The Blue Jays scored 2 runs in the 9th on Tuesday to win 6-5. Ball 4, that'll load the bases.
Can't get that guy out. He has walked 3 times. He's had a couple of hits. He's been on base all 5 times this afternoon.
And now Navarro's going out to the mound. That suggests to me they're waiting on Sanchez to give him another pitch or 2. See if they're going to make a change. John Gibbons doesn't appear to be coming out. Aaron Sanchez has just started to throw, and now here comes Gibbons. He's going to make a move right here to bring Aaron Sanchez into this game. There's the call to the bullpen. So LaTroy Hawkins, 2 walks and a hit in this inning. Rangers have yet to score. So they'll go to the bullpen, and Aaron Sanchez will come into this game. Sanchez has not pitched in this series, and obviously this is a big point in the ball game for the Blue Jays to stay within 3 runs. Hawkins is out. Sanchez is in. Bases loaded. 2 outs when we come back.
75th anniversary of Dave Stieb's finest hour. It is still the only no-hitter in Blue Jays franchise history. Tune into Sportsnet on Sunday, August 30th at 12 noon Eastern for Dave Stieb, Almost Perfect. It's a special look back at that game's significant moments as shared by some of the participants, including Dave Stieb himself. Buck, it feels like this game has gone 25 years today.
It's a long one, that's for sure. And John Gibbons has gone to the bullpen. Aaron Sanchez makes his first appearance since Sunday in Anaheim. He threw 9 pitches in a perfect 8th inning in that game against the Angels.
First time that the Rangers are going to see Aaron Sanchez. There is numbers this year in 25 games. His job is to hold these runners from scoring. It's been a tough year for Aaron in the inherited runners number, coming in here with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
Sanchez has allowed all 4 inherited runners that he has had score, and he has just inherited 3 more with the bases loaded. Sin-Shu Chu with 2 outs. Ball 1. Brett Cecil was up throwing earlier, but they chose not to use Cecil in this situation with Chu, the left-hander. Ball 2. Cecil did a terrific job in that game on Tuesday night. He came in to face Chu and Fielder. There would be runners at second and third. He would strike out Chu and got Fielder to ground out to end the threat, and that kept the Blue Jays within striking distance.
Thought that was a turning point of the ball game. I really did. When Brett came in and stranded those runners, gave the offense a little bit of a boost, and they would take advantage of it.
Two and 2 now to Chu. Chu's 1 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts this afternoon. Bases loaded. Pretty good pitch. Navarro didn't get the call.
That looked like it was almost right down the middle. You can see Pete Walker is not real happy with that call from home plate umpire Paul Maurer.
Full count, 2 outs. The runners will be off on the pitch. There they go. Ball is popped in the air. Shallow center field. Pilar is over and makes the catch. Sanchez strands all 3 Rangers. We'll go to the 9th. The Blue Jays are down by 3. Revere, Pennington, and Goins against Sean Tollison when we come back. car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
You know, we usually show home runs or a big double, but on our drive of the game this afternoon, we're going to show Edwin Encarnacion slicing that ball to center field. This is going to keep that hitting streak alive as he scores. Jose Bautista from first base as he cruises into second base with a double on our drive of the game.
That extends the hit streak to 22 straight for Encarnacion. New pitcher into the game is Sean Tallison. He is the closer for the Rangers, and he took the loss on Tuesday night and suffered a blown save as well.
Had that chance, second blown save. He had saved 12 straight chances for him as Ryan Strasburger is into the game. Will Venable shifts over to right field, so Sin-Chu Chu is out of the game. He had a chance to save it, but he was wild. Walked a couple of batters that eventually came around to score.
Ben Revere, another 3-hit game here this afternoon. He takes ball 2, and this was the problem Tolleson had on Tuesday night. Tolleson walked the first batter, Russell Martin, and then 1 out later would walk Ben Revere, and those 2 walks came around to score. There's a strike. Ben Revere's had a terrific road trip. He's hit .452 on the road trip, 14 for 31. He scored 11 runs and driven in 3. This is a fly ball to center. Leonard Shields gets back and makes the catch. 1 out. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Tim and Sid. Here they are. That's all coming up right after the ball game, and that's an interesting story about Usain Bolt, so make sure you stay tuned and check that out. Cliff Pennington started at second base this afternoon. He walked against the lefty Jake Diekman back in the 7th.
Boy, that's when the Blue Jays really had a chance to take the lead against the Rangers. They had 3 runners on base and just 1 out at the top of the lineup coming up, and they just couldn't bring them around.
Pulled on the ground. Alberto throws to first, 2 down. Ryan Goins now trying to keep the game alive. He singled. Very good at bat last time up. Got a single against the tough lefty Jake Diekman. That knocked Diekman out of the game, and that's when Sam Dyson came in and got the double play off the bat of Troy Tulowitzki. Another base hit for Goins. He slaps it past Beltre. The Blue Jays never go quietly, that's for sure.
Well, what a series Ryan has had here in Texas in front of his family. Just take that ball the other way against a tough reliever in Tolleson.
Goins has been on base 6 times in the last 2 games he's played here. 6 of 9 plate appearances he's reached base. Troy Tulowitzki, his first time playing the role at DH. Takes ball 1. Goins moves to second on defensive indifference. Troy Tulowitzki, if he keeps it alive, Donaldson will come to the plate representing the tying run. Tulowitzki, foul just outside of third. Line drive hooked into foul ground.
Yeah, that's why the Blue Jays are never out of it. They grind it all the way down, and with the threat of the home run, they're never out of a ball game.
Tulowitzki takes called strike 2. Tulowitzki had a big hit on Tuesday night. He had a single that tied it up. That was off of Tollison. Tulowitzki knows at this point he can't take anything close.
No, anything close. So you better be swinging. Tollison should use that to his advantage and maybe sweep a breaking ball off the plate. See if he can end it right there with a strikeout.
Josh Donaldson would love another at bat here this afternoon. All the way back to the screen. Goins will move to third. Wilson was anticipating something down in the zone and went off his glove. It'd more than likely be a wild pitch charge to Thompson. Two balls and 2 strikes. Line to the shortstop. That'll do it. Tollison gets Tulowitzki to line out. And the Blue Jays see their 5-game road winning streak come to an end, but they finish up 6-2 on the road trip.
And if you ask the Blue Jays, what would you like to do on this tough road trip from the East Coast, West Coast, and then in the middle? 6-2 would be good. Now I got to get ready for a long homestand as that lead in the American League East gets trimmed to a game and a half.
Well, the Yankees are idle today. The Blue Jays will start action tomorrow, game and a half ahead of New York. The Tigers are in town tomorrow night at Rogers Center. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night. Stay tuned. Here's Tim and Sid.